County Sheriff's Office. It broke out at the Sierra Vista Motel on Union Avenue at around 11 a.m. Tuesday. Deputies identified the victim as 36-year-old Jaime Bautista, who was inside and had severe burn injuries. He was taken to the Bakersfield Memorial Hospital burn unit for treatment but did not survive. The Bakersfield Fire Department is investigating. The city of Bakersfield is hosting a free bulky item drop-off this coming Saturday, November 8th. It's being held at Riverwoods Ranch Park from 8 a.m. till noon. Residents should be prepared to unload their own stuff. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, it's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com on this 5th day of November, post-election day, a black day for the Republican Party, and Democrats are dancing through the streets. We will unpack what I did not estimate the blowout victories in New Jersey and Virginia, particularly the Attorney General's race, and Jay Jones. We'll delve into that. The Supreme Court, most pundits are agreeing, are leaning against Donald Trump's ability to wage tariff wars. We will talk about that. You'll hear from Teresa Golder from yesterday as she explains the two main points, delegation and the major question doctrine, and the International Emergency Economic Power Act, enacted in 1977, which is at the crux of the case. She explained it to us yesterday. You will hear from Teresa. Howard Marcus joins us at 4 o'clock. It's a Wednesday. And Veterans Day is next week. Justine Howell, a badass Marine, will tell us what is going on in terms of the parade and other activities to highlight our veterans. And it is now day 36. We have broken a record for the federal shutdown, which had a huge role, in my opinion, on elections last night, particularly in Virginia. And the numbers are coming in from the World Series, and they are astronomical, as most would, later, my brother, as most people could have guessed. But I bet you could not. This is the funniest stat that I saw. The 4 major cities that watched the series. Of course, you know what number 1 is.
I would assume LA.
Of course. San Diego is 2nd.
Really?
Seattle is 3rd.
Really?
St. Louis is 4th. Milwaukee was 5th. Now, what sticks beyond Toronto, which is surprising? I guess they wouldn't. I'm not sure they would include international.
That's what I'm thinking.
They couldn't have included it because Toronto would have been in there. No, Japan's numbers were gargantuan as well.
That's what I would think.
But what stands out among those 4 cities?
All of those are, all those are NL.
No, there's a city that's missing.
It's missing?
Yes. That you would think would be there.
New York?
Absolutely. How hilarious is that? Yankee fans were like, we ain't watching. It's the number 1 market on the planet. And there were more people in Milwaukee than were watching in New York City.
No, that's fair.
Baby, we watching Everybody Loves Raymond. I ain't watching the damn Dodgers. No. In fact, I'm going to the bar. I'm like, are you? That is, I don't know. Maybe just because I hate the Yankees, I'm the only
I'll think
one
of it
that
this way.
finds that hysterical. We ain't watching it. Mets fans, Yankee fans, I ain't watching the World Series. Ain't watching it.
At least on the Yankee side,
I love
I
that.
could say this: no matter who won, they didn't want to see either of you guys win a championship. Because if
Oh,
the Dodgers
obviously.
win, they hate you guys. But if the Blue Jays win, that's a direct rival.
Obviously. That is, I think that is funny. And I've got some miscellaneous news and notes. It looks like Drew Brees is going to fill in on Fox for Mark Sanchez. It was one of the reasons the day after this whole thing broke down, and Craig Melvin, a really good broadcast journalist on the Today Show, asked the reporter, "What about Mr. Sanchez's broadcasting career?" I was like, "What broadcasting career? You mean the one he just pissed away?" So, and Drew Brees is great, actually. I'm excited about that for him. And there's a great article in today's Los Angeles Times that we'll go over. What's next? What's next? Who stays? Who goes? Have you heard of Kyle Tucker?
Yes, outfitter for the Cubbies.
They're claiming that he's the number one free agent, and I just don't get it. His big year was last year when he had 28 home runs and had like 82 RBIs. Dude, that's like our eighth hitter. And that's the guy that they're talking about giving $400 million to. We'll unpack that and what the Dodgers are looking at, because I think if we're going to give away a ton of money, I think we ought to give it to Cody Bellinger. But he may be asking astronomical numbers. But God, Cody Bellinger in center and Eddie Paez in left. And we got to get ready to get rid of Teo because he's got 2 years left on his contract. And if Teo doesn't hit 30 home runs again, they might release him next season because he is a liability in left field. I'm sorry. That there was a ball in the gap during the game 7 that I thought he should have got. I think that a younger, more adept outfielder would have got, but that's the side point. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. But in terms of last night, how can I sell this without pissing everybody who's listening to me off? It was a huge night. There's no denying that. And if Republicans don't recognize that and just play it off as an outlier, an aberration, we're going to get murdered in the midterms. This is the comparison. I spent all morning thinking about this. Here's the best comparison I can give you. It would be as if the Raiders finish this year at 2-15. We don't win another game. And we get the first round pick, the overwhelming consensus first round pick, a guy that every scout says will change your organization forever, right? So on that day, that's going to be a jubilant day for the Las Vegas Raiders, their fans, the teammates, the base, Mark Davis. Everybody's going to be jubilant, right? But what's next? Now, that number one pick has to perform and has to actually change the organization, or he's Jamarcus Russell. It's the same thing in politics. Zoran Mamdani won with an overwhelming mandate. He won with a majority of the voters as the first Muslim in a crowded field. Okay, now what? Have you ever seen the candidate? The only reason I bring this up is it was on this week. They had Robert Redford night the other night. They had Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, The Way We Were, All the President's Men, and The Candidate. A not very popular Robert Redford movie, but it's a great picture with Melvin Douglas as his dad, who was a one-time governor of California. Peter Boyle, everybody loves Raymond's dad, the guy that played Frankenstein on Young Frankenstein. He plays the political hack who comes in and basically wants a dummy to run, just somebody to run against the Republican, and he's going to get killed. But Redford's good looking. His dad was the governor. All of a sudden, he starts rising the polls, and he screws around and wins. And the very last, literally the very last line of the movie is he wins. There's a crowd. He pulls Peter Boyle aside and said, "I need to talk to you." And he's like, "Dude, we just won. What? He says, "No, I need to talk to you." And they go into a room, and he says, last line of the movie, "Now what do we do?" And that's the deal for Zoran Mamdani. Yeah, you won, but now you've got to come through with free busing. You've got to make government grocery stores work, which we know doesn't work. You've got to give free rides to these young people. You should see the generational difference in Mamdani's win last night. Cuomo, with 51 and older, 45 plus, Cuomo won 51% of the vote, 45 plus. 18 to 44, Mamdani won 70% of the vote. Among 18 to 44-year-olds, 7 out of 10 voted for Mamdani. Why? Because he promised them the moon. Okay, fine. Now you've got to deliver. Now you've got to come through. And don't forget, Kathy Hochul is still the governor. And all these things that he wants to do, and raising taxes, and all these things he wants to do, still has to go through a fairly moderate, for New York, governor in Kathy Hochul. It's one thing to win a campaign, it's another thing to govern. And I just don't think, I think this guy, as I've been telling you for weeks, I was rooting for this guy. I think he's a godsend for the GOP. I hope he becomes the face of the Democratic Party. I hope he and AOC take over, because socialism has been tried for over 100 years. He even made allusions to Eugene Debs in his acceptance speech, one of the famous socialists of the turn of the century. Oh, not 2000, the other century. He went back 125 years. And what did Debs do? He ran for president many times and lost. It doesn't work. I've been quoting Margaret Thatcher all week. The only problem with socialism is you run out of other people's money. And it's the truth. And in terms of Virginia, there was no chance. Abe Lincoln couldn't have won Virginia. Abe Lincoln could come out of the grave today and couldn't win Virginia. Let's go ahead and take our first break, and I'll explain why. We'll get into that and talk about the real upset of the night, and that is Jack Ciattarelli getting his ass kicked in New Jersey. You got to remember, Ciattarelli, and I'm probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, but he lost to the incumbent 4 years ago by 2 percentage points. He was 2 percentage points away from being the governor, and last night he got his head handed to him. I'll try to explain why. Then we'll get into the Supreme Court's case on tariffs. Everyone is saying they are leaning against the government. Again, you'll hear from Teresa Goldner from our interview from yesterday. Howard Marcus joins us at 4 o'clock. We'll find out what's going on Veterans Day from Justine Howell and delve into the shutdown, day 36, and talk a little sports. Take a look at some of the free agents that the Dodgers are talking about, and the Times even named some of the players that may not be with the club, and some of those names just might surprise you. It's a Wednesday on the Ralph Bailey Show, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So Jastrow Park's $1 Million Pavilion is set for a ribbon cutting on Friday. And the press release that I got said invitation only, which is funny because it's a public park. It's a public stage that we use public money to refurbish.
Oh, shit.
But it's invitation
It's my
only.
throw.
You know what? Y'all show up at Jastrow Park on Friday at 2 p.m. Play my show and tell him JR sent you.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries here in Kern County. If you are eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. God damn it. QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans. I'm usually really good at that. With access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare. Where'd the grade go? Coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544. You guys see the grade? Let's help you understand your healthcare option for 2025. Call today Oh, there it is. I got it.
That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-417-6411. 800-417-6411. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for?
You got two Mondanis?
6411 and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates. Gun safes on.
Yeah, I got his bite of him saying how this is going to change New York and like how it should have, like the only hope they have is that they look back at this and say, why did it take so long, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Long guns, coins, jewelry, and other precious belongings safe. TNT also has many scratch and dents and closeouts in stock while supplies last. Go to TNTLibertySafe.com and check out TNT's Black Friday full lineup of American-made gun safes. Or stop by TNT's showroom at 6201 Knudsen Drive, 2 doors north of Hodels. TNT, saving lives one safe at a time.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
I don't care what we do.
I don't care, pretty baby. Just take me with you. I rarely heard Prince song. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Before we get to New Jersey and Virginia, and I explain why no Republican could have won in the state of Virginia right now, let's get back to the new mayor-elect of New York City. Here is a guy who literally made allusions to Eugene Debs and was screaming. Even Democrats this morning were like, I didn't get his speech last night because remember, he's only 34 years old. He's only been a state assemblyman, and he doesn't get it. Your audience, when you're doing a speech like that, your audience isn't the people sitting in the audience. Your audience is television. You have to understand, you just got elected mayor of the most populous city in the nation, in North America. And so your audience is television. You have to understand that people, and he's screaming like this. Here is the mayor-elect.
This will be an age where New Yorkers expect from their leaders a bold vision of what we will achieve, rather than a list of excuses for what we are too timid to attempt. Central to that vision will be the most ambitious agenda to tackle the cost of living crisis that this city has seen since the days of Fiorello LaGuardia. An agenda that will freeze the rents for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants. Make buses fast and free. And deliver universal childcare across our city. Years from now, may our only regret be that this day took so long to come.
Okay. All right. That's a great agenda. And he spelled it out. And that's what won him the election, fair and square. But now, Jamarcus Russell, you have to deliver. Yeah, we've seen you throw the ball 65 yards on one knee. We saw what you did at LSU. But now this is the National Football League. And Zorn, we've seen you run a great campaign. We saw you touch the nerves of 18 to 44-year-olds, people that can't afford to live in New York, people that are going to eat up getting on a free bus, people that are going to love having universal free child health care, people that are going to love this most ambitious administration that compared himself to the man who one of the airports is named after, one of the greatest mayors who ever lived. Now you got to live up to that. Now you got to live up to that. And let's just see what happens in the next 4 years in the city of New York. And the only mistake that Donald Trump is making is he's handing Zoran an excuse. I'm sorry. Again, I know you don't want to hear this, but the President of the United States cannot tell a city that I'm not going to give you money because I don't like who you elected. Can you imagine if Gavin Newsom becomes president in 2029 and he tells Texas, I think Greg Abbott's a bigot. So Texas, you get no federal funding from me, President Newsom. You can't go down that road. You're the president of the United States, not the president of the Republican Party. That's the second time I've had to say this week. And that's the exact excuse Mamdani needs to not come through with all these ridiculous assertions that he's making. Well, how can I do this when the president of the United States won't even come to help our city? The most populous city, the center of everything, culture, you name it, fashion, economics, and the president of the United States won't even give me a lending hand. That's exactly the excuse he needs when he ultimately and inevitably fails. Instead, the president says, I'm a New Yorker, and this guy is about to ruin my city. I'm going to do everything I can to help him because he's going to need it. He's going to absolutely need my help because there's no way in the world that he can live up to these promises. So he's going to need my help, and when he comes crying, I'm going to help him. Instead, he says, well, I'm not going to do anything. I don't like who you elected. It's just stupid. It really is just stupid. And in terms of Virginia, nobody could have won Virginia. And again, I'm sorry, as much as you don't like it, again, that's Trump. If you've ever been to DC, you know there aren't big palatial homes. Yeah, maybe Georgetown and the outskirts, but most workers in DC live where? Virginia, maybe Maryland. And what's been going on with workers in DC? Between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they've either been fired or fearful that they're going to get fired. There's no way that Loudoun County, Fairfax County, where all those federal workers live, were going to vote for a Republican. It just wasn't going to happen. Abe Lincoln could have risen from the grave and a Democrat would have beaten him in Virginia. The only thing that caught me off guard was Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey. That really was weird. Let me throw some numbers at you. In New Jersey, Trump's approval rating is at 42. And that's just about what Citarelli got in votes. And the votes have jumped, like in Passaic County, for example, in New Jersey. In 2020, Biden carried it by 16 points. Okay? 16 points. In 2024, flip the script, Trump wins it by 3. That's a 19-point swing in one little county in New Jersey. And last night, Mikey Sherrill, remember Trump won it by 3. Mikey Sherrill, the Democratic governor, won by 15 points in the very same county that just 9 months ago, Donald Trump won by 3. Trump, this falls at your door, son. There's no question about that. And he even went on X last night and said, they lost because I wasn't on the ballot. Well, guess what, Donald? You're never going to be on the ballot again. Never. I don't care what Steve Bannon says. You're never going to be on a ballot again. So unless the Republican Party takes this seriously, because Mikey Sherrill didn't win. She didn't beat Jack Citarelli. Spanberger didn't beat Winnie Sears. They kicked their asses. Even the political prophet was wrong. Because I said Citarelli would be within 10, 7, maybe even 5 points. No, he got blown out. And you know my sports theory? That you'd rather get blown out than lose by 1? Like, look at the Blue Jays. Every one of those players are still thinking, had I just done this? Have I not gotten doubled off? Had I just run the bases better? Had I made a catch? They're thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. But if they had gotten beat 12 to nothing, they had gotten beaten 12 to nothing, what is there to think about? But in politics, you'd much rather get nipped because now you can go back and think about what you could have done differently and do that the next time around because there's a next election coming right around the corner. But when you get blown out in politics, it's like, everybody get in here. Let's have a meeting. Let's talk about this. This is serious business. And it all gets back to James Carville. It's the economy, stupid. And the economy really isn't doing that badly. Not as badly as Democrats were able to sell it. And again, as we'll talk about in the 5, expect the shutdown to come to an end very soon because this is what Democrats wanted. They wanted chaos and mayhem for this election, and now they'll sign off before the end of the week. Quick time out. We'll talk about tariffs when we come back.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN newsroom.
But I didn't use the second one, huh?
On News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins.
Is it a
The
what one?
Bakersfield police detective who's been charged with sexual exploitation of a minor has been released from jail. Tuesday, a federal judge ruled that Mark Lugo can be released from custody on a personal recognizance bond. Lugo was 35 at the time of his arrest in May. He's accused of contacting a 15-year-old girl on Instagram for the purpose of committing a sexual offense. A man has been hurt after a crash on Highway 65. CHP says it happened
Isn't
just
that the
after
hour?
6
Didn't I write
o'clock
that down?
Monday morning
Yeah.
near the intersection of Highway 65 and Snow Queen Avenue. Officers say one vehicle made an unsafe turn. All 3 drivers were taken to the hospital. Alcohol or drugs are not believed to have been factors in the crash. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour, or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-399-7272. 800-399-7272. Again, that's 800-399-7272.
I'm the threat that's already inside the house. In the closet, under the bed, in the car. But I don't want your money or your TV. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. I'm patient and quiet. I don't sleep. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Secure all your guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Start your day right.
Lakers tonight.
First Look
Who
with
do they
Scott
play?
Cox, 6 to 9
Hey
a.m.
Siri,
On the Thursday edition
show
of
me
the
the
First
Lakers
Look
schedule.
program, we've got Supreme Court rulings to talk about. Dr. Corey will be joining us, which means we'll be getting
Ooh.
top shelf burritos and also
That is
mental
going to
health
be a
care,
good
I
match.
suppose.
It'll be the
We will
first.
have
You know, be
news
the
and
first time
traffic
I've
and
seen him.
weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at
This
Newstalk
year.
96.1 and
What do
streaming
you
live on the
ever?
internet at
I used to have
kernradio.com.
Lakers season
First Look with
tickets,
Scott
Jackson.
Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
There it goes again, dude.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
That's the biggest one ever. Yeah, that was the biggest one ever.
Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Yeah, I gotta listen to it. That was the biggest one ever. I almost fell over. Wow, that was crazy.
I got a happy all on my wheel.
842-5376, our phone number 842-KERN. Trying to look and see if I'm done with last night's election. I think a lot of this had to do with the shutdown as well. The biggest surprise, other than Mikey Sherrill, is Jay Jones won. Like I said, I think I noted that. The guy who said something about killing the speaker and his wife holding their baby dead so they can understand empathy. He won in Virginia by 6 points. By 6 points. That's what I'm saying. There was no way anybody could have won in Virginia. But I think that's about it. Oh, here's some exit poll numbers. In New Jersey, they exit poll and they asked them what were the main policies or things they were looking at. The economy was number one, 32%. Taxes, 35%. 16%. Only 16% said healthcare. That's telling. Because remember, I kept saying that I think that the Democrats believe that their number one issue is healthcare, and that everybody is concerned about the ACA tax credit extensions, but not New Jersey. 16% considered it important, and only 7% considered immigration, and only 3% said crime, which is shocking. Which goes to show you it's all about the wallet, particularly now going into Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's all about the economy, and that's all Memdani talked about. He also went on to kind of chide the president. Here's more from Mayor-elect Zoran Memdani and Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
This guy's such an amateur. I mean, what? You're a mayor of a city. But it worked. It worked to a certain degree. Me versus Trump. And like I said, I think the president is playing right into his hands by saying, I'm not going to send New York funds. That's just a bad play. Like I said, he should be, of course I'm going to help him because he's going to need my help and he's going to come asking for my help because what he is suggesting can't be funded and can't be done. Kathy Huckel can't help him, and there's no way you can have all this free. Somebody's got to pick up the tab. Of course I'm going to help him because I love New York. I lived in New York. I helped build New York. But instead, the president is giving him the perfect out to fail. Of course I failed. The president wouldn't even help me. And have you guys ever heard of that? A president not wanting to help a great city like New York? It's the perfect excuse. I think that's about it. I think I've covered all my bases. Let's hear one. That was the last one from Memdani. I don't know. It was just, I didn't even watch. Everybody was banging my phone last night. Are you watching this? Are you watching this? And I said, no, I told you clearly didn't hear the show. I told you at 3:00 this afternoon that this was going to be a blowout. The only one I didn't see was, I didn't see Jay Jones winning, even in Virginia. And if he did win, I thought it'd be 1 or 2 percentage points. I didn't think you could say something about somebody's child dying and still win an elected office. I don't give a damn when you said it. I don't care if you said it when you were a teenager. I didn't think you could say that as a grown-ass adult about an opponent, that you hope that their children would die and you could still win. But that's the sentiment in Virginia. Meantime, as Teresa Goldner told us, the Supreme Court is examining the president's ability to levy tariffs, and just to a person, including Republican pundits, they all agreed that based on the arguments today, the Solicitor General, who was the attorney for the government, went before the court today, and everyone is saying essentially the government's going to lose. Neil Gorsuch got into it with him. I didn't ask Chris to find it because it's really hard to find Supreme Court audio, but Neil Gorsuch got into it with the Solicitor General, and he compared, because essentially, as Teresa Golder told us, there are two points here. There's delegation and the major question doctrine. Let's let former federal magistrate judge explain it. Here's Teresa Goldner on delegation.
What he's arguing, that he has the power to impose these tariffs, violates something in constitutional law called the major questions doctrine. And
No,
that
that's
means
number
that,
two. That's number two. Where's number one?
I believe that's number one, but let me give you number two.
Okay, okay, maybe she gets into it. Maybe I interrupted too quickly. Maybe she gets back into delegation. Start that again.
what he's arguing, that he has the power to impose these tariffs, violates something in constitutional law called the major questions doctrine. And that means that if it's such a powerful thing to be able to impose these tariffs, and for the president to have such power, it requires Congress giving him that authority to exercise that power with guidelines on how to exercise it.
Okay, I just did it out of order. That's the major question doctrine, obviously. That's the one, well, we'll get into it afterward. Here is delegation.
The non-delegation doctrine, which is the idea that Congress generally can't delegate its power to make laws to the president. And so that's kind of
what does that mean?
That just means that Congress has to make the laws. Congress has to impose the tariffs, not the president.
Okay.
That's the argument on that one.
Now, that's the one that Gorsuch got into it with the Solicitor General. And the comparison that Neil Gorsuch made, the Supreme Court Justice, was the power of war. Now, technically, the power of war rests solely with Congress. But does it really? Does it really? Did Congress levy war against Vietnam? No, Lyndon Johnson did. Did Congress level war against Afghanistan? No, George Bush did. Did Congress tell the president that he could blow up Venezuelan ships? No, the president did. But Gorsuch seems to think that it still rests with the Congress, which in technicality it does, but in practicality it really doesn't. But apparently from what the pundit said this morning, Amy Coney Barrett, and who was the third conservative that might go with them? Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, not Kavanaugh. Who would be the third? Well, that they would join the. Well, you don't need a third. Those two would join Kagan, Jackson, and Sotomayor. And that's 5-4 right there. No, Alito and Clarence are always going to go with Trump, and Kavanaugh apparently is going to go with Trump.
So John Roberts then, or Gorsuch?
Yes, it's maybe Roberts. Yes, Roberts, the Chief Justice, is the one that might join. But even again, if he doesn't, if Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett join Kagan, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Sotomayor, that's 5-4. That's a defeat for the government. And that's where all the pundits this morning are leaning and saying what's going to happen. And it gets back to what Teresa Golder talked about as well, that the government is using a 1977 law, the International Emergency Economic Power Act, that talks about that he can enact these in times of emergency. And I was trying to argue with Teresa, and I watched this back this morning, and my argument was weak, that you could make the argument that we are in an economic war with China, that we've been fighting these tariff wars for decades and losing. And that he could say that this is an emergency, that it's time we draw the line in the sand. And when I heard me talking about that last night or this morning when I was watching it, I wasn't even believing me. This doesn't look good. In fact, I texted Teresa this morning. I said, have you heard some of the arguments? Because I heard a lot of the audio from the back and forth between the Solicitor General, the attorney for the government, and some of the justices. And they are the word that everyone is using is extremely skeptical. And I texted Teresa, I said, it doesn't look good for the government. It really doesn't. And she offered to come on. I probably should have had her come on. But this does not look good. And the question now that looms, and this is another thing that I heard pundits almost to a person talk about, and we alluded to it yesterday, and neither Teresa and I had the answer. Let's say they shoot down these tariffs. What if they say he does not have the power? Scott Besson, the Secretary of the Treasury, saying, you're talking about refunding close to $1 trillion. And how does that work? How do we refund this money? Or can you just say, well, from this point on, you no longer have that power? I have no idea. I have no idea. And I'm not sure many people do, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. Howard Marcus will join us at the top of the hour. We'll get his thoughts on last night's bloodbath. Veterans Day is next week. Is it confirmed we don't get Veterans Day? Do
No,
we?
we don't get that.
You know that for a fact?
I'm pretty dang sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. But there's a lot going on, and Justine Howell, a member of the United States Marine Corps, will join us and tell us all about it at 4:30. And I've got some miscellaneous news and notes to get to. I am really tempted to write a letter to the editor, but I just don't think I'm the guy with a DUI conviction of 2006. But this last murder of an 8-year-old, and yes, it was murder, of a man who will soon be convicted for his 3rd DUI. This is ridiculous. An 8-year-old sitting having lunch with his father gets run down by a drunkard who's working on his 3rd DUI in the middle of the afternoon, drunk as a skunk, speeding like AJ Foyt, excuse my age, went through 3 fences and killed this young kid. The answer is simple. First offense, mandatory 6-month jail sentence. Second offense, mandatory 2-year sentence. Third offense, you never drive again. Complete and total revocation of your driving privileges. End of sentence. How in the world was this guy driving around? Because you can't tell me. I'd be willing to bet all $127 we got paid today that he was on a suspended license. Drunk as a skunk in the middle of the afternoon. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Wednesday. Hump Day, 5th day of November. 23 days till Thanksgiving, which makes it what, like 50 days to Christmas? Good. Google it. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at currentradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. We will break down the continued fallout of the 2025 elections and how they might impact the 2026 midterms. Plus, we will be joined by Katie Miller and Buck.
We'll look at what the Trump administration's focus is for not just the economy, but immigration and other national issues on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Just want to thank Cassie Biddlet and her incredible staff. I spent 3 of the 7 nights watching the World Series at her place. Let me tell you something. Nobody's happier than Cassie Biddlet that this thing is over, because at one point on Saturday night, I turned around, The place was almost packed, but nobody was eating. Nobody was ordering drinks. Everybody was watching the game. That just goes to show what a big heart Cassie has. It really is. But things are getting back to normal. And again, Casey's Steakhouse, obviously, you voted them in the Bakersfield, California poll as the best steakhouse and the best ambiance for a restaurant. So turn on a friend. In the last month or two, I've turned on 2 or 3 friends who'd never been to Casey's Steakhouse, which is absolutely unthinkable. And don't forget about the Stockyard next door, where young Lottie is playing live music Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday nights. Where would you rather be than on F Street in the incredible hands of Cassie Biddle's incredible staff at Casey's Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Best Flooring Store. Now offering 1-year, no-interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Hi, I'm Rick Sorsey, certified kitchen and bath designer and owner of Stockdale Kitchen and Bath. When it comes to remodeling your kitchen or bathroom, you deserve a process that's personal, precise, and as stress-free as possible. That's why I personally designed every project with you using state-of-the-art 3-dimensional software, so you can see exactly what your new space will look like even before construction begins. No guesswork, no surprises, just a clear vision brought to life. And I believe in guiding you through every step of the process. I shop with you. Cabinets, countertops, fixtures, so you get the perfect combination of style and function. We work with top quality American-made cabinet brands like Waypoint, Diamond, Medallion to ensure long-lasting beauty and craftsmanship. If you're ready to turn your vision into reality, let's design something amazing together. Call Stockdale Kitchen and Bath at
Georgetown in Washington,
661-834-3333 or visit StockdaleKitchenandBath.com today. Stockdale Kitchen and Bath, beautiful cabinetry, smart design.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk.
You think the World Series outdid the NBA Finals?
What do you mean, by viewership?
Yes. It's going to make funny, but yes. Viewership. What percentage? It was higher, but by what percentage?
200.
Don't go crazy. Why do you always blow the bid? 200?
Oh, no, it's the World Series compared to it.
56%. That's gargantuan.
True.
56%. Ain't nobody watching the NBA. Poor NBC. You can give Michael Jordan and all the people you want, but I don't know. I was just telling Chris, I'm going to watch the Lakers for the very first time this season tonight. They're playing Wembanyama, the big fella. They're going to get drilled. Luka's back, but pain in the ass isn't back, which I'm good with. I'm so tired of LeBron James. And I think somehow he is connected to this whole gambling deal. It seems like everybody involved is somehow connected to him. Damon Jones, Chauncey Billups, Rozier, they're all kind of connected to him somehow. I smell a rat. I really do. I don't know. Maybe because I just don't like the guy. 842-5376. I'll cheer for him, but I don't like him. 842-KERN. What do you got on the board?
In the months leading up to November 4th, you'd think Trump would have been doing rallies and fundraisers for the GOP candidates, but he was nowhere to be found. Seems like the GOP is realizing how unpopular and downright radioactive Donald Trump truly is.
I don't know if it's that's probably true in Virginia. I'm shocked that you're right, that first part of your comment. I'm shocked that he wasn't running around New Jersey. Like I said, he won Passaic County by 3 points after Biden won it in 20 by 16. He turned around that county. And yet, this time around, the Democrat won it by 15 points. And I bet Donald Trump never went to New Jersey to stump for that guy. And again, I don't know the ins and outs of politics right now. I don't know whether the Citarelli asked him not to come. I think in Virginia, I think he knew he wasn't popular because of what he's done to federal workers. I think he knew that Winston Sears was going to lose, so he didn't want to be involved in that. But he could have supported the AG candidate who was going up against Jay Jones. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. His approval rating is down to 43%. And now I think it's time that somebody in the administration grab him by the lapels and say, we've got to pivot. And we've been A1 on foreign policy. The taking out of the nuclear site, peace in Israel, the meeting with Xi, getting soybeans being purchased again by our soybean farmers from China. He's been almost perfect on foreign policy, but he's been nowhere to be found in terms of domestic policy. And somebody in that administration has got to grab him by the lapels and say, dude, we've got to do something. If not, get a message out. Because the reality is, from what I understand, Amazon is reporting that this is going to be a cheaper Christmas than last year. I understand that Walmart is saying, was it Walmart? I think it was Walmart that's saying that Thanksgiving is going to be $20 less than it was last year. Inflation is at 2.5%. And you would think that somebody would be getting out the message, look, when Biden took over, inflation was at 1.4%. And it was the Inflation Act, or whatever the hell they call that thing, that shot it up to damn near 10%. And yet moderate Democrats still won. We're not even getting out the message of economics, let alone actually doing something to improve the situation. Has anybody heard the president talk about economics since his boy Jerome Powell lowered federal interest rates? I haven't. Certainly hasn't been on the front pages of the New York Times, the LA Times, or major newspapers. I don't know why, they are just absolutely ignoring economic policy and affordability in America. That is the nerve that is touching young people. One more, and let's head up the hill and get Howard Marcus in here.
Ralph, could Biden have declared a national emergency as well and used tariffs in a manner similar to what Trump is doing?
I have no idea. We'll find out, won't we? I'm not a Supreme Court justice. We'll find out. The Supreme Court is about to tell us. And normally, as again, our former federal magistrate Judge Teresa Golden pointed out yesterday, normally for something about this time of the year, they would not come back with a rendering until June. But again, all of the pundits that I heard this morning believe that they're going to come back, given the importance of this, of the economy and Christmas, by the end of the year, which would be because this thing, the decision just to hear the case was expedited. They ran this thing straight to the front of the line. It cut in front of a lot of other decisions that they were about to hear. So there's a clear feeling of urgency by the court, and I think by Christmas we'll know something. But I can't tell you the answer to that. That's what the judges are trying to decide right now. We got time for one more?
We're good, actually. We're all right.
842-5376, our phone. We're headed to the 4 o'clock hour. Talk with Howard Marcus. We'll get his thoughts on last night's elections, including Prop 50, which we really haven't talked about because, what can you say about that? It was 60-40. I could have given Kathy 15 points and it still would have won. The good news is it is going to catapult Gavin Newsom's presidential hopes, which I think is a very positive thing for the Republican Party. I think every Republican in the country should get on his hands and knees and pray that Gavin Newsom is the 2028 nominee. I really do. And then let him defend his state of California. Let him defend high-speed rail. Let him defend how the fires were treated. Let him defend all the ills that has caused folks to leave this state and us to lose congressional seats for the first time in over 100 years. I would love to see him defend that on a national stage. Quick time out. We are headed up the hill. It's a Wednesday, so Howard Marcus joins us next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Supreme Court is considering President Trump's tariffs and a $1 trillion challenge of his executive use of emergency powers.
Conservative justices on the Supreme Court sound skeptical of the legality of President Trump's sweeping unilateral tariffs in two cases where small businesses are challenging executive caveat. The plaintiffs say the president should not be using EPA, a 1977 emergency powers law, to regulate imports, and that the uncertainty is driving them to the brink of bankruptcy. The second case questions whether the statute unconstitutionally delegates authority from Congress to the president. The government argues that tariffs can be imposed in emergency situations and fall under foreign affairs.
Correspondent Jennifer King reporting. At a news conference, NTSB member Todd Inman describes the series of events during the UPS cargo plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky, saying there's evidence that one of the engines fell off.
A large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property. A post-impact fire ensued, which covers approximately almost a half of a mile.
At least 12 people were killed in the crash, including a child. The Federal Aviation Administration says it plans to reduce air traffic by 10% across 40 high-volume markets beginning Friday morning to maintain safety during the ongoing government shutdown. The reduction stands to impact thousands of flights nationwide. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 225 points, the Nasdaq rose 151. More at townhall.com.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of their family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family. But my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. The Bakersfield police detective who's been charged with sexual exploitation of a minor has been released from jail. Tuesday, a federal judge ruled that Mark Lugo can be released from custody on a personal recognizance bond. Lugo was 35 at the time of his arrest in May. He's accused of contacting a 15-year-old girl on Instagram for the purpose of committing a sexual offense. A United States prosecutor argued that Lugo should stay in custody and brought up his attempts at hiding evidence in secret photo vault apps only accessible to the U.S. Secret Service. An 8-year-old boy has died after being hit by an alleged drunk driver in a pickup truck. 33-year-old Andres Serna has been charged with DUI in Kern County before. Court records show his license is suspended. Police say that Serna lost control of his pickup a little after 12 noon Monday as he was heading west on East California Avenue near Haley Street. The truck went through a fence into a parking lot and hit the boy and his father near a food truck. The father had moderate injuries. The boy was listed as critical but did not survive. A man has died after a fire in the Southeast Bakersfield motel. According to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, it broke out at the Sierra Vista Motel on Union Avenue at around 11 a.m. Tuesday. Deputies identified the victim as 36-year-old Jaime Bautista, who was inside and had severe burn injuries. He was taken to the Bakersfield Memorial Hospital burn unit for treatment, but did not survive. The Bakersfield Fire Department is investigating. The city of Bakersfield is hosting a free bulky item drop-off this coming Saturday, November 8th. It's being held at River Lakes Ranch Park from 8 a.m. till noon. Residents should be prepared to unload their own stuff. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Bada bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 5th day of November. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live. KERNradio.com. Justine Howell is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Tell us what festivities are going on to honor our veterans next week. We'll get deeper into the shutdown in the 5 o'clock hour and talk a little sports. Give you some of the numbers from the World Series ratings numbers and talk about some of the free agents and some of the moves that the Dodgers are going to have to make for the 2026 season. And I got some miscellaneous news and notes. Don't forget, Erica Kirk is to appear on Jesse Waters in about an hour, but you can see it again later on Fox if you're still just getting out of work. And Drew Brees appears set to take Mark Sanchez's spot, on the Fox broadcasting NFL games. In the meantime, it's a Wednesday. The problem with your theme song, Howard, I don't want to get to you. I want to sing Dean Martin songs. I love it.
I don't blame you. It's okay.
I love that song.
You know, they call Mel Torme the Velvet Fog. I think that should actually go to Dean, but oh well.
Yeah, I agree. My algorithm is so full of. In fact, I saw the premiere. I didn't know that the Dean Martin show started in black and white.
Really? That was
yes.
That would be pre-65.
It was 1960 was when it premiered. I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. Wow, it's been on that long. I didn't know that.
It was he and Frank, and I think one of the guests was I think it was Judy Garland was one of the first guests.
Okay, that's interesting, because I remember when it changed over. I actually have a vivid memory. It was my birthday. It was 1964 or 5.
When they went color?
Yeah, my whole family's gathered around looking at the classic Zenith console TV.
Right.
And it was, of all things, that we're all raptly watching the Gilligan's Island premiere in color of all the shows.
Yeah.
They watched. It wasn't like it was classic high TV, but I just remember everybody in the room just staring at it like it was magic.
There are a lot of shows that went through a transition. Bonanza started in black and white.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lots of shows that we take for granted. Wild Wild West. A whole bunch of shows that I love. The first seasons are black and white.
Yeah.
64, 65 was a switchover.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah. Nowadays, you take it for granted. Everybody listening under the age of, 100.
Yeah, no kidding. The only good thing is Twilight Zone always stayed black and white.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought that was
I think
important.
sometimes it's done rightly. It actually increases the impact. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Any comments on last night?
I actually have a very different observation of last night.
I
don't
guessed
think
as much.
Oh yeah. Well, my observation is something completely different, which is it's next year essentially is 25 years since 9/11. We have gone from rightfully watching Islamic fundamentalism with kind of a wary eye to openly embracing a candidate who is an all but declared jihadist, an anti-American Muslim who has made multiple public appearances with unindicted co-conspirators of 9/11, who has publicly pledged in past speeches for things like Sharia law, and his cohorts there openly declaring a war on America and their pledge to turn us into a Muslim country. And nobody even mentions this really, or they ignored it. And how far we've come in 25 years.
Well, just as they ignored what was going on college campuses a year or two ago.
Exactly.
Where these idiot kids who, if they were under the rule of Hamas, many of them, because they're lesbians or women, would be dead.
All be dead.
Would be dead. And yet here they are camping out on college campuses, essentially supporting Hamas.
The very people that killed them. And the reality of it is, a lot of people don't know, the largest Jewish population outside of Israel is New York.
Is New York City. Yeah.
And all the rabbis came out. I think it was something like 500 rabbis came out and had a public proclamation. They obviously got to turn out the vote. And it wasn't enough, because if you promise things you cannot deliver to idiots up to the age of 25, they voted on the more free stuff that really will never happen. They cannot physically do what they want them to do.
Never.
And
I gave some
walk it back, or it just won't happen.
I gave some numbers. 45 plus. Cuomo won a majority of the vote, 51%, with Mandani only winning 38%. But 18 to 44, he won 70% of the vote.
Yep.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy. And you're right. He said free, 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 and they ran to the polls.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a one term. But the sad part is we're watching an open movement, a very not disguised movement to dismantle the Judeo-Christian Western culture in the United States. And because we don't look at the long-term game. Everybody around us does. The Chinese do. The Islamists do. They look in multi-generational, 100-year-old plans to do what they're going to do. They don't look at 4-year terms, political terms like we do, or 2-year cycles in Congress. They look far beyond that. They have an ultimate goal, and they just will keep working towards the goal.
Yeah, but New York is an outlier. He doesn't outside of New York, his message doesn't sell. He could never be a national figure, and thank God he wasn't born in the United States, so he can never be president. But his message doesn't work anywhere. I don't think it works in upstate New York. I don't think he can win a statewide race in New York.
We can only hope. But the sad part is that his movement, specifically Islamists, are spreading. There's a Somali candidate that was running. I don't know if he won or not.
He did not.
Pacific Northeast. I don't know. Did he win? I don't
know.
No,
he did not. And two socialists in Seattle and Minnesota, although closer than a lot of people thought, they both lost as well.
Good. Well, there's some small comfort there.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, it's not necessarily the national movement. It's the fact that we can even have this even considered as part of a viable candidate. He should have been laughed or even forced off the public stage as soon as he declared his support for, honestly, ideas that are the actual opposite of everything we value in America. Sharia law, Islamics, Jew hatred, you name it, he was for it. And, didn't really bother to hide it.
Well, I think he did a good job of hiding it, really, because he talked so much about affordability and the economy and, the busing and childcare and I think that the Republicans have done a horrible job in these 9 months focusing on domestic issues, and even just getting out the message.
I think to a certain extent, but the reality of it is that that Trump has done a lot. People don't. We did a $40 billion deal for Argentinian beef, not only to help their economy because the beef prices here, because people don't realize we had a huge drought the last couple of years, and the beef herds here were decimated. That's why the cost of beef and beef products has gone up sky high, because the demand is up, but the supply is way down. So Bush negotiated, Trump has negotiated that deal. He also has done a huge deal, which we're just now starting to hit, on domestic medicine, which has been a real problem for lots of people not being able to afford necessary medication. I think they just announced, by the way, Ozempic this morning.
Right.
That he worked a deal on Ozempic and the GLP-1 stuff. So he's doing stuff. The problem is the world is such a chaotic place. It's trying to play whack-a-mole with a lot of these issues because we have a genuinely real crises like Ukraine and Israel and everything else that we cannot afford to ignore. I'm surprised he can get as much done as he is doing, including what he can do on domestic.
Then why did the two gubernatorial candidates not lose, but got their heads handed to them?
Well, Pacific Northeast in those areas is traditionally liberal. You know, Virginia has a huge, like you said, federal population. I went through 4 shutdowns, by the way, in my career. And, you know, it is what it is. You have to plan for it. And the fact that the average American, we are so badly in need of some kind of, I don't know how, economic history for people, that the average person couldn't come up with $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have, most people should have one, they've always said that you should have 2 or 3 months worth of savings to pay your bills because things happen. My father was an aerospace engineer and had no economic stability. Went from job, after 1969, he had to go from job to job to job to job. And you learn to save because you never know when your next paycheck was showing up. We no longer do that. People are putting off credit cards. People are buying things. Everybody has to have a flat screen TV and 2 new cars. Lease payments are insane. And people are just not worrying about it. They're just doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody's saving.
True that. True that.
And it's not necessarily, the SNAP program, it's going to come back. But the reality is, you realize 42 million Americans are on it. Do we actually have 42 million working poor, or is it just the fact that we made it easier and easier and easier for people to receive the benefits? People that shouldn't be getting them are getting them. That's one example of economic issues we deal with. And the reality is the piggy bank's empty. So I don't know if Trump can really do a lot as far as domestic policy. A lot of it's beyond his control. We don't want him to do socialist price controls. We don't want him to do things that theoretically is being promised on the left, just as what Mandami promised. Government stores, which, by the way, will not sell alcohol, cigarettes, or anything that violates his Sharia law. He already announced that. Wait till they go in there and they can't buy all the vices that they prefer to have.
Right.
Freedom of choice.
Right.
Sad.
Yeah.
Way. But it's going to come around. Look, nobody expected Trump to win in 2016 or 2020. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to turn it around, and we'll see if the economy rebounds. The tariff thing is kind of a concern. As you stated, how do they give back hundreds of billions of dollars?
I have no idea. I really
don't either. I don't have a clue. Supreme Court better figure that out, too. You can't just say it doesn't work. Then what do we do?
Well, you think the Supreme Court's going to go along with him?
I think they're going to temper it. I don't think they're going to out and out throw it out.
No way.
What they're going to do, they're going to have some kind of ways. They're going to have to find middle ground because it's been months and months of collecting these tariffs, and they've shown to be viable, and they've shown to be valuable to the economy. I don't think they're going to throw them out entirely, but I think they're going to modify what he can do.
Yeah, there've got to be some guardrails.
Yeah, I think so. He's using it as honestly, he's using it as a club for foreign policy, as opposed to what they were originally supposed to do. As far as raising revenue, just solely for revenue. And I think that's going to be the question, because the whole idea of the fact that if you read the decision discussions, they never authorized it for what he's using it for in a specific sense.
Right.
And that's the whole point. So I think they're going to temper it. I think they're going to say there's guardrails, like you said. They're going to have to rein it back in. But I don't think it's going to be an outright rejection. I hope not, at least.
Yeah. Howard Marcus is our guest. What about the shutdown? I think it's going to be negotiated by the end of the week. I think that the Democrats.
Schumer's already let leak that they're talking to shut it down. As you predicted, and it was pretty obvious, they were going to hold this through the election.
Yep.
Trying to scare people into voting. Now they have no choice. Now they have to come to the table. And I just hope that after they do not get anything but a clean CR agreed upon. Because otherwise you set a precedent to happen forever. It'll happen over and over and over again.
Exactly. The ACA extensions has to be a separate piece of legislation.
Correct.
It cannot be part of this.
That'll be part of negotiation. And I have a kind of contrary opinion. I don't think they should be extended. They were designed specifically for COVID. People get used to free stuff. People get used to discounts from the government that we all ultimately pay for. And these were not designed to be permanent. and we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars.
And you want to see people's premiums go up and double?
They,
Middle class folks.
Well, they do go up. My father had to emigrate to Canada, and this is 30 years ago. His monthly premium just for Blue Cross, because we had a history of cancer, was $700 a month 30 years ago. It'd be thousands of dollars a month now. Healthcare is not a guaranteed right. Neither is cheap premiums. It's unfortunate that way. I mean, that's just the way we are as a society. There are going to be people that can't have health care. It's not the government's job.
But listen to what you just said, Howard. There are going to be people without health care, and we just don't give a damn?
No, I didn't say that. I just said that.
Well, what do we do?
Well, it's what we did before Obamacare, but before we did these programs. People will make do, or they'll have to make what they did when I had no money. I had to make a payment arrangement, depending on what it was. I had to do a payment arrangement with the hospital or the provider and make payments on it. I had to do that when I was young. That's what you do. Or you put it on a credit card, which everybody now has, and you pay it when you can. You make
Not everybody has a credit card, but
oh heck, how many people out there you can have? Pull your audience.
see, that's what I'm saying. People like you, and I don't mean this as an insult, Howard, but people like you really don't know the poor.
Oh my
really
God.
don't know the poor. You don't know the poor in Jordan Downs. You don't know the poor in Cabrini Green. You don't know the poor in ghettos across this country. Everybody has a credit card. Come on, Howard.
Mary's family, Mary's parents, lost their house to foreclosure. He had to go door
Their house. Their house. Their house. I'm talking about Cabrini Green. I'm talking about Jordan Downs. I'm not talking about people that have houses, Howard.
Local. I'm not talking about Oildale that doesn't have sidewalks. They have dirt streets in a good chunks of Oildale.
And you think all those people have credit cards?
They're easy to get. They send them to you. Yeah, I think they do. The average American carries a huge amount of credit card debt, and credit cards are, unfortunately, a lot easier to get. Even Mary's parents had them, and they had to rack them up because I'm the one that helped them through their bankruptcy. I'm telling you, they send credit cards out all the time. They don't care as long as you make the minimum payment. You'll never pay it off, but they let you rack them up. Mary ended up having to sleep in the back of a 54 Chevy. That was her bed. Mary's parents lost the home of foreclosure. We know poverty is everywhere. It's not just specific places. Bakersfield has a huge poverty rate, along with Arvin, Lamont, and everywhere else around us. It's not isolated. You're looking at places like, the greater LA area. We have poverty here, lots of it. In fact, specifically Kern County, the poorest county, I think, last I checked, in California.
And those people don't deserve health care.
I didn't say they don't deserve it. I just said that it's not the government's job. It isn't part of what we are supposed to guarantee people. We haven't had health care for everyone for, 250 years. You arrange it. That's the whole idea of getting a better life. You work for your children. They get jobs, hopefully with pensions and health care if possible. But it's not a guaranteed right. We lose that idea when we start giving things to everybody. Because what's going to be next? They're already chanting you have a right to health care. No, you don't. It sounds harsh, but it's true.
Because it is harsh. And it's cruel. No. It's cruel and unusual.
No, it's not.
And we're just going to turn our backs because it's not just the poor. It's people that are making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 who are paying, $600, $700, $800 a month, who are now going to be paying, close to $2,000 a month, and they just can't afford that.
But the problem with that is you got to go to the greater cause of that. That was the Obama plan. They did a study on that, and as a result of Obamacare, premiums shot up and doubled.
You're absolutely right. And yet, then why hasn't the Republican Party since 2008 come up with a better plan?
Well, they don't have the votes to get it through because of filibusters.
What plan? What plan can't they get through? I haven't seen a plan.
Just get rid of it. You don't need a better plan. You're saying your plan. You're implying when you say plan
that healthcare is broken. That healthcare is broken in America, and we have to fix it. Are you not willing to admit that healthcare in America is okay? You're not willing to admit that healthcare in America is broken?
Well, I'm willing to say that the last place I want to fix anything is allow the government, as we've seen by the incredible waste that we've got. The last thing I expect to have an efficient service is from the government. And I've worked there 30 years. I saw the waste and fraud. I can tell you that the last person to fix anything is the government.
Then if not the government, then who?
Private industry as it was for the last, 100 years? Healthcare worked until Obamacare. And then it got worse because the government got involved. Remember when the whole argument over it was the fee? They forced you into it and fined you if you didn't go into Obamacare. So you were coerced into it. Even if you had a viable health plan, You don't remember all that?
I'm not saying I'm not a huge fan of Obamacare. I'm just simply
Well, that's what caused the
stating.
problem.
Well, it is what it is, Howard. We can't go back in life and change it, but to not extend it is to put a lot of people's health in danger. That's all I know.
No. But Ralph, the point is the Democrats passed this specifically with a temporary fix for COVID only. It was not designed to be permanent by the actual Democrats that passed it.
I understand that.
Well, now you're trying to make it an entitlement forever, and that's just not right.
Because there's no other plan. There's no other better plan. It's either that, which is not a great alternative, or these people go without health care. And we're not talking about just the poor. We're talking about the working middle class who are going to see their copays and their cost of pills. And nobody knows it better than I, who has to take 5 pills a day just to get up in the morning. They're going to see the cost of their pills and their health care shoot out. And in 27 and 28, we're going to see health care in the United States and health in general plummet because people can't afford it.
Well, and then you talk about Trump not doing anything, and he negotiated, as you know, with all prescription medicine. We are not going to pay more for prescription medicine. We have been subsidizing countries all over the world, and he gives it specific examples. Pills are like $8 in Germany, they're $150 here. You're talking about nothing he did. He made that announcement, and that's starting to ripple through. You have to give them time to take effect. Your medicine costs are going to go down because that's the negotiation that happened under Trump already. But we don't. He just announced that a month ago. And the reality of it is Ralph, life is hard for everyone. Nobody's guaranteed to live 100 years old, and nobody involved gets to have a Rolls Royce or a mansion. We're always going to have working poor. It's unfortunate, unless we want to completely abandon the government that we've had since the inception. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I guess.
Sad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying I'm for it.
Let them eat cake.
Reality.
Yeah, you're right. Let them eat cake. What the hell?
No, but Ralph,
what the hell?
We have a $40 trillion debt. The system will, if we continue to subsidize with money we don't have, nobody's going to have health care because the government won't have any money, and our currency will literally collapse.
All right. We got to agree to disagree because I got to fly. I'm way late.
I know we're at a break. I can hear the music.
All right, man. Have a great weekend.
Next week.
All right, we'll talk to you. All right. Howard Marcus. Quick time out. No time when we get back. But Justine Howell is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-399-7272. 800-399-7272. Again, that's 800-399-7272.
Gun safes on sale. TNT Liberty Safes Black Friday sale is happening now all month long. TNT has a large selection of home, office, commercial, and gun safes with hundreds of safes in stock and ready for installation. Keep your handguns, long guns, coins, jewelry, and other precious belongings safe. TNT also has many scratch and dents and closeouts in stock while supplies last. Go to TNTLibertySafe.com and check out TNT's Black Friday full lineup of American-made gun safes. Or stop by TNT's showroom at 6201 Knudsen Drive, 2 doors north of Hodels. TNT, saving lives one safe at a time.
Welcome to Sundale Country Club, your home for golf, family, and friends. Sundale is more than golf. It's a jewel in the heart of Bakersfield. The proud home of the award-winning Phoenix restaurant, combining upscale dining with magnificent golf course views. Sundale Country Club will soon be your favorite getaway without even leaving town. To reserve a tee time or make a dining reservation, call 661-831-4200. Open to all, but ask about our membership benefits. Golf, family, and friends. It all comes together at Sundale Country Club.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk
I'm no fan of Obamacare. I voted against it. I rooted against it. I resented John McCain for not helping us get it across the goal line and defeating it. But the reality is, this is the reality. If there's not a deal made, which I think there will be by the end of the week, I think that those tax credits will be extended because not even Republicans, unlike Howard, want to see them expire. It's not a great idea, but it's the best alternative. It's just like the 60-40 Proposition 50. What we had wasn't the best, but it was better than what we had. That's just the reality of it. Chief Abera joins us next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Within hours of Zohar Mamdani's election as New York's first Muslim mayor, there were swift and harsh reactions from his Jewish critics. Notably, the Anti-Defamation League, which combats anti-Semitism, launched an initiative to track policies and personnel appointments of the incoming administration. The ADL said its goal was to protect Jewish residents during what it called a period of unprecedented anti-Semitism in New York City. Federal investigators say a UPS cargo plane's left wing caught fire and its engine fell off just before a fireball crash after takeoff in Kentucky. The crash and fire Tuesday destroyed the plane and spread to nearby businesses in Louisville. Authorities say at least 12 people died and others are missing. More details at SRNnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1. AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. Former Cal State Bakersfield Athletic Director Kyle Condor has filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles County. According to Condor, CSUB administrators have mishandled sexual assault allegations, and they fired him as retaliation for speaking out. There have been 3 separate sexual scandals at Cal State Bakersfield. According to Condor's lawsuit, they're all connected. The first scandal involved 2 former softball players' alleged harassment, assault, and abuse. Police from Cal City are on the lookout for a missing 14-year-old boy last seen yesterday in Mojave. Roman Lopez was seen leaving a home on Carroll Street at around 6 p.m. Tuesday. He's described as 5'9", thin-build with black hair and brown eyes. Anyone who knows anything is asked to call Cal City Police. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks. You know, a lot of IT companies try to squeeze your unique business into their cookie-cutter solutions. That's why we've teamed up with Adaptive Networks, because they know no 2 businesses are exactly alike, and your IT shouldn't be either. While other MSPs offer one-size-fits-all packages, Adaptive Networks takes the time to listen and understand your specific challenges, your industry requirements. They build custom technology solutions that actually fit your business, not the other way around. So whether you're a small company or a growing enterprise, Adaptive Networks adapts to you. Their customer-driven approach means you get exactly what you need. So don't settle for generic IT support. Call Adaptive Networks today and discover what truly customized technology solutions can do for your business. Adaptive Networks, because your business is unique and your IT should be as well. Visit adaptive-net.com or call 661-241-0638 today.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
It's JR, and you're not going to want to miss a show this week. Let me tell you why. No, not because of the content. That's great and everything, but I got Megyn Kelly tickets to give away. That's right. She's coming to town November 20th to the Dignity Health Arena, and you're not going to want to miss it. She's bringing Charlie Sheen. I got your tickets in. Don't miss the show. This week only. Megyn Kelly tickets.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Come on, I'd say that on the air.
I don't think that's the lie to say that on here.
No? Well, I wouldn't put it the way I just put it, but I'd say we were talking about Charlie Sheen. I forgot I had my mic on. So for those of you that are subscribing, you got some extra. Let's hope the commercial kind of drowned me out. Let's read some text messages. Anything left on the board for Chef Ibarra? I believe is how he pronounces his name.
I think that's him right there.
Is that him right there? He went to the wrong address. We're going to talk about Veterans Day. I thought Justine Howell was coming in, but she is sending in one of her surrogates who we work in a large business complex next to the Motel 6. And there are about 150 different businesses in here, and they're poorly marked. They really are. They're not, I mean, they're in sequential order, but then when they turn the corner, they're not. And a lot of people can be in the complex and still not be able to find our suite. And here comes our next guest. Have a seat, sir. Thanks for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
You don't look very enthusiastic to be here.
Not enough hours in my day right now.
I understand. Chief Ricardo Ibarra. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Ibarra. Thanks for coming on the program. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. Pleasure to be here.
Here to talk about Veterans Day. What's going on Veterans Day?
Well, we got a busy schedule.
Yeah?
Starting at 6:30 in the morning, we have a breakfast, pancake breakfast over at the Post. $5 for non-veterans,
Yeah,
free for veterans.
Where's the VFW Post?
It's the American Legion Post 26 downtown, right across the street from the Fox Theater.
Okay, and that starts at 6:30.
6:30 breakfast.
Okay.
Like I said, free for veterans, $5 for non-veterans. And then that goes from 6:30 to about 9:30. And then the parade starts at 10. And as soon as the parade's over at noon, then we go into lunch. We have tri-tip sandwiches, $15 for non-veterans. Their hamburgers, $8 meal. Veterans eat for free.
Yeah. And tell us what we can expect during the parade.
Well, during the parade, we have 111 entries.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting.
Last year we had 97. This year
Yeah.
we're up to 111.
That's
and
pretty
a lot
cool.
A lot of new people joining us.
Yeah. Who we got?
Well, of course, we have Dr. Congresswoman Jasmine Baines will be there, but you have all your normal veterans organizations that are there, the VFW, the American Legion. So we have quite a few people that are going to be there.
Yeah, that's outstanding. How long?
Sheriff's Mounted Posse. And
Yeah, outstanding. How long have we been doing the Veterans Day parade?
This is our 106th year.
Is that right?
Yes.
That is awesome.
Even the year that we had COVID, we did a small one just so we didn't,
Right.
we
I remember
didn't
that.
skip a year.
I remember that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is
So
pretty
we've been
cool.
doing 106 years now.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Any other festivities we should know about on the day?
Well, for us, like I said, after lunch, during lunch, we'll be doing our awards. So, we have judges, and so we'll be doing our giving our awards out.
Yeah. What are some of the
Sweepstakes, band, military, youth, community.
Yeah. So
Commercials.
you've got high school kids involved as well?
I have, I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 bands or more.
Wow.
I have 3 high school bands and a lot of middle school bands.
Yeah.
A couple elementary schools have some cheer squads, and we have a couple of 3 different cheer groups also that are in the community.
Wow. And what's the route for the
route?
parade?
We start out at 21st and L.
Okay.
And we
right in front of KGT 17.
almost in front, yeah. And then we come up 21st Street to 8th Street. We turn left and head south for 1 block. And then once we get to 20th Street, we head east and to O Street, more or less.
Yeah.
And that's our disbanding area.
And every year it's just a tremendous turnout. It really is.
Yeah, it grows every year.
Yeah.
It grows
really
every
does.
year.
It really does.
And there's no way, for me, there's no way I'm kind of trying to keep in contact with what's going on everywhere, but I couldn't tell you how many people show up every year, but every year it seems like it's a larger crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this community is extraordinary.
Yes.
In terms of when
They
it comes
support
to
our veterans.
Oh, absolutely. Tell us about Chief Ricardo Ibarra. Tell us about you've got veteran of Desert Storm on your hat.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, I did 21 years in the U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
I retired as a chief petty officer, radioman chief petty officer. Most of my career was on the West Coast. Okay. Did couple Middle East tours, but they're short, brief ones. I guess I pushed all the right buttons to make chief. Okay.
Right. Obviously.
But I went everything from destroyers onto the amphibious size ships. And it kind of, once I got to the amphibious side, I said, this is where I'm staying.
Yeah.
Them destroyers, they bob in the water too much.
Please tell me you've been a part of Honor Flight.
I have not.
And why is that?
Well, they're going to open a new memorial next year. It's the Desert Storm Memorial.
Right. In DC. Yeah. We just saw it on our last Honor Flight. We just saw the construction going on.
It's going to be open next year. I'm a Desert Storm vet. I want to go see my memorial.
Yeah.
Next year.
Is it going to be ready by next year?
That's what they said. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you've been waiting on that?
I'm waiting on that. And then once it's there, I am on my way.
All right. Very good. That's good to hear, because it is an extraordinary trip, and I'm one of its biggest proponents, and I try to get every veteran, no matter what, Desert Storm, Vietnam, Korea, World War II, we try to get these guys, because it is it's quite a trip. It really, really is.
Yeah, I know quite a few people that have gone, but like I said, I'm waiting for mine to open.
Well, you can go more than once,
Oh, that's true too,
But well, tell us more about Ricardo Ibarra. Are you from here? Did you grow up here?
You know what? No, I actually I'm from the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, what part?
I went to San Fernando High School.
Really?
Okay. And while I was in high school, I was part of the junior ROTC program there.
Yeah.
We had a Navy junior ROTC program, and that convinced me I wanted to go Navy.
Yeah.
So I went Navy, and I did my first enlistment. I did 2 destroyers, and then after my school, and after the destroyers, I said, I'm going to try some there. So I went recruiting duty. And then from recruiting duty, I went to Commander Middle East Forces Staff in the Persian Gulf.
Yeah.
And then from there, I came back and took my first amphibious ship, which was a helicopter carrier, the USS New Orleans. And I did that, and we spent about 15 months on her.
Yeah.
And then I went to shore duty.
What guided you toward the military?
My ROTC program in high school.
Yeah. Well, how'd you get involved in that?
They actually started the year I started high school.
Really?
And I said, I'm going to try this.
At San Fernando Valley.
At San Fernando High School.
The only thing I know about San Fernando High School, I'm pretty sure that's where Charles White went to high school. The great SC and Ram running back.
All 3 years I was in high school, we took city championship.
Oh, you were there when Charles White was there?
Yeah, 74.
Right?
He graduated same year.
What year was that?
76.
76. Yeah, okay.
And then he went to USC, got the Heisman Trophy, and then he went to the Rams.
Played for the Rams for a long time. Yeah, that's incredible. Because I went to high school in the Valley till I was in 10th grade, and I saw Charles White play. I didn't know who he was. I was in 8th, 9th grade in 76. I got to see him play out in San Fernando.
Yeah. We won city championship 3 years in a row.
Yeah, you did. You guys
it was a trio. A powerhouse trio, and it was Charles White, Kevin Williams.
Kevin Williams, that's right.
And Kenny Moore.
And who?
I think his name was Kenny Moore.
Kenny Moore, yeah, playing with the Jets, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, so we had all 3, and with those 3, we couldn't
unstoppable.
Lose.
You really
couldn't lose.
You really were. Last thoughts on the parade? Anything anybody should know? What time should they be showing up?
Well, parking is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, with after the event that happened a couple years ago with the Christmas parade and the DUI. So safety and security is, foremost on our minds. So the streets are going to be closed off like at 6 a.m.
Okay.
And the only ones that are going to be let in beyond that point are the participants.
Doors,
no, not the goers. Participants. And so pretty much people have to go find their parking spots and hike it in.
Okay, that's good advice. So, any suggestions where they can park?
You know what?
In the downtown area?
Like I said, everything's going to be closed off. You figure it's going to be closed off like 22nd Street, 23rd Street in some areas.
So they're going to be put in front of my apartment complex, is what you're telling me. 'Cause I live downtown, kind of really in that proximity. So the outside Westchester area.
Yeah, and you notice, I don't know if you went out there last year, they were blocking the streets with dump trucks, trash trucks, everything big to keep people from coming in.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a great day. And again, as you know, as I know, and as everybody who's listening knows, our community absolutely embraces our veterans and looks forward to this event every single year. I did not know it was more than a century.
106 years. And then, like I said, during COVID, they said, well, we can't
I
have a
do
parade.
remember that.
We can't have a parade, but we made a
Still
parade.
made it happen.
We made it happen.
Right. Doggone right. Thank you so much for coming in, Chief. I appreciate it.
All right, Ralph.
Nice
It's been
meeting
a
you,
pleasure
sir.
coming in.
Take care.
All right, sir.
Chief Ricardo Ibarra right here. Ibarra. I'll get it right. Take a quick time out. We'll come back, check the board, see what you all are talking about. I got a couple other things we'll get into. We will talk about the shutdown, day 36. Thank you, Chief. Ran out of here as quickly as he got in here. Normally they kind of wait. We shake hands. Took off. We'll get into the shutdown and talk a little sports. What are the Dodgers to do now? Somebody got to go, and somebody's going to join us. But whom might that be? We'll discuss that. I got some other miscellaneous news and notes. Erica Kirk on Jesse Waters in about 15 minutes, but don't go watch it because it airs again tonight at 9 o'clock on Fox. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we've got Supreme Court rulings to talk about. Dr. Corey will be joining us, which means we'll be getting top shelf burritos and also mental health care, I suppose. We will have news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at Newstalk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey folks, this is Michael Binge, noted barbecue connoisseur for Salty's Barbecue and Catering, and I'm here with my buddy Jeff Salters. Hey Jeff, every time I come in, your barbecue is on point. How do you do that?
The secret, Michael, is consistency. Every day we fire those smokers up with the same almond wood. Every day we fire that open pit up with red oak. And our guys are good at what they do. They know how to smoke that meat. They know how to grill that meat. And I'm telling you, they take pride in it. And they want to make sure that every time our customers come in, they get the same consistent product time after time. And that is our goal at Salty's, to make sure that when you come in here, it's as good as it was the first time.
And it is. Jeff, you tell the folks where they can find the best barbecue in Bakersfield.
You can find us at 9425 Rosedale Highway or 6801 White Lane. Or if you want, you can go to saltysbbq.com and order online.
Salty's Barbecue and Catering.
California grilled,
Texas approved. Oh, it's good.
Hey, get in. What? Who are you? I'm future you. Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Yeah. Mia, our doctor figured it out. She said it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
Not again. This copier is always jamming.
We should call American Business Machines.
Since 1927, American Business Machines, an authorized Canon dealer, has been providing reliable office solutions. From state-of-the-art copiers to advanced printers, we ensure your business runs smoothly. Visit abm1.com or call us today at 1-877-YES-ABM1. That's 1-877-937-2261. American Business Machines, your trusted partner for all your office technology needs.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Eight 842-537-6842 KERN. I want to thank Chief Ricardo Ibarra for joining us, and I hope you guys will attend the Veterans Day Parade coming up next week. And yeah, they'll be parked in front of my house. You should see the Christmas parade. My neighbors park in the subway parking lot during the deal. Did I ever tell you the story of the day that I got my coffee table ripped off on the Christmas Day parade? I used to have a balcony when I lived on D Street, and I was going to take it the next day to get something done. I think one of my guys was going to tarnish it for me, or whatever you call it when you kind of make it look new again. And I had left it on my porch, and it was the night of the Christmas parade, where cars were parked all up and down D Street where they walked, and they stole my my coffee table off my porch. And I know you're like, well, damn, Ralph, you left it on your porch, but who steals a coffee table? Like, how do you steal a coffee table? The guy just was like, oh, okay. I just took it and put it in the back. I don't know. Call me crazy. That's not the only thing I've had stolen on D Street. When I lived further down D Street, because I've lived on D Street twice. In fact, I've lived on D Street 3 times. They stole my stationary bike and my golf clubs. Now, I get the golf clubs, but how they got that stationary bike away, I will never figure out. It's back when I had a back porch, and I was living next door to my then girlfriend's father. Ever tell you that story? I was living next door to my girlfriend's dad. So bizarre. So bizarre. She would never come to my apartment. That's her dad. And I could literally, from my back window, see her father's house. It's right there on 19th and D. I don't know why I'm telling all my business. You got anything on the board? God, I hate this. It's about to be dark. It's not even 5 o'clock. I was thinking, God, it's going to rain? No, I forgot the time has changed. And it'll be pitch black when I drive home. Huh? I can't hear you. Your mic's not on.
Sorry about that. No, I said it might still rain. You never know. It looks like it's pretty cloudy out there.
Is it cloudy or is it just dark?
Oh, no, we got some wind blowing through too, so.
Oh, the windsock isn't doing much. That's what I always go by. You ever look at the windsock?
I do, but I can't see it right now because the window's not
Yeah.
up.
What do you got?
How predictable was this? Democrats win local and state races in heavily leaning Democratic states, and it's being trumpeted as a nationwide referendum against Trump and the GOP. The truth is, Republicans had very little chance of winning any of these elections. It would be like Republicans crowning about election wins in Idaho or Wyoming.
I think you meant crowing.
Or crowing, yeah, crowing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I agree. It's not that they got beat. You're absolutely right. There are 850,000 more Democrats in New Jersey. It's not that they got beat. Winnie Sears wasn't a really good candidate. Virginia federal workers are mad at Trump. mad at the Republican Party. 52% blame the shutdown on the Republican Party. It's not that they got beat. It's that they got blown out. I started the show by saying in sports, you would rather get blown out than get edged. And I use the example of what the Toronto Blue Jays are going through right now. Imagine if you're a Toronto Blue Jay right now and you're in the Bahamas. Have you really forgotten about it? Or are you reliving Andy Pages' catch, the double play by Kike, the bad base running that caused him not to get to home plate? You're thinking about every little thing that went wrong. The ball lodging in the fence. If that ball doesn't lodge in the fence, they win the game. They win the World Series. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. You think Milwaukee or Philly are thinking about their losses to the Dodgers? You really think about Philly, who got swept? Didn't Philly get swept? No, Milwaukee got swept.
Milwaukee got swept.
You think Milwaukee is thinking about that series right now? They're not. But in politics, it's the exact opposite. If you get edged in politics, you're like, I'm going to run again. I'm going to run again. Look at Rudy Salas. How many times? He ran against David Valdale 17 times. 17 times. Because it was close. But when you get blown out in politics, that's a big deal. That's when you gotta step back and be like, we clearly did something wrong. Did you see that J.D. Vance's half-brother was running for mayor of Cincinnati? What percentage of the vote do you think he got?
17.
22%. You always blow the... See, Chris...
I wasn't that far off this time.
But that's the point. You're not supposed to be close. You're supposed to exaggerate how off it is. So you're supposed to say, oh, you got like 35, 40. And then I come in and say, no, it was 22. But if you go lower than I go, then the point that it's 22 doesn't really make a sense.
I'm going to try to guess every single time. So
you got to go high when you guess. So that I can come in with the staggering low number, you see. Just say it. You gotta be Ed McMahon. Think Ed McMahon. Whenever I ask you a question, think Ed McMahon. Think straight man. I'm not gonna give Ralph the right answer. I'm gonna toss it to him like a softball and let him hit it out the park. No, Chris, you're so wrong. It's 22%. But think about that. His opponent got 78% of the vote. That's like I'm saying, if he loses by 5 percentage points, he probably runs again in 4 years. But when you get 22% of the vote, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go sell shoes. I'm just gonna go. My political days are over. So it's not just that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not patting myself on the back, as I told you guys 2 weeks ago that this was going to be a horrible day for the Republican Party. Duh. But I never saw Mikey Sherrill blowing out Jack Citarelli. Again, Citarelli lost 4 years ago by 2 percentage points to an incumbent governor. To an incumbent. It is hard to beat an incumbent unless they're just completely incompetent. He lost by 2 percentage points. And what did he lose by last night? What was it? New Jersey, I don't have it in here, but it was large and in charge. Why don't I have the numbers down here? Please stand by. I got the numbers down here somewhere. Don't I? Ralph? Hello? Well, it was large. I don't know. Please stand by. Hey, Siri, what was the final vote count in the New Jersey gubernatorial race? Why can't you just tell me? Please stand by. It was, they're giving county by county. He got blown out. Just trust me on that. He got blown out. That's what's troubling. It's not that they got beat, that they got blown out. That, as I mentioned, in Passaic County, this is the classic example. Passaic County, 2020, Biden carried it by 16 points. 4 years later, not only did Donald Trump flip the script but he won it by 3 points. That's a 19-point swing. 19-point swing in 4 years because Uncle Fluffy was on the ticket. Last night, Mikey Sherrill won by 15 points. That's another 18-point swing. That's what's troubling. Latinos, blacks, left Republicans that voted for Donald Trump in 2024. That's what's troubling. And the midterms are right around the corner. And the fact that healthcare wasn't really the big bludgeoning hammer that everybody thought it was, that it was all about what we've been talking about for at least weeks. Affordability, rent, groceries, gas prices, etc., etc. Final hour of the broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is ramping up the pressure on Senate Republicans to eliminate the filibuster. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
With the government shutdown now the longest in U.S. history, the president told GOP senators it's time to change the rules and do away with the filibuster.
And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation.
Even though the filibuster's 60-vote threshold has prevented Republicans from reopening the government, GOP leaders have strongly opposed changing it. They argue it's allowed them to halt Democratic policies when Republicans were in the minority. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Russian President Putin is considering resuming nuclear tests. Correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
Speaking at a meeting with members of his Security Council, Russian President Vladimir Putin reaffirmed his earlier statement that Moscow will only restart nuclear tests if the US does so first. But he directed the defense and foreign ministries and other government agencies to analyze Washington's intentions and work out proposals for resuming nuclear weapons tests. President Trump appeared to signal last month that the US will resume testing nuclear weapons for the first time in 3 decades, saying it would be on an equal basis with Russia and China. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The Federal Aviation Administration said that it would reduce air traffic by 10% across 40 high-volume markets beginning Friday morning to maintain safety during the ongoing government shutdown. The reduction stands to impact thousands of flights nationwide because the FAA directs more than 44,000 flights daily. On Wall Street, the Dow by 225 points, the Nasdaq rose 151, the S&P advanced 24. More at townhall.com.
I told you, they're losing their minds.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific. President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbee, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp.
Is it a
and
30?
Never
It's a minute? Do we have time?
For you, it's probably like more of a 45 because I got to do the disclaimer.
Okay. You ready? 3, 2. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. I think the guys at Sangera Subaru have completely lost their minds. Forget it.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins, the Bakersfield police detective who's been charged with sexual exploitation of a minor, has been released from jail. Tuesday, a federal judge ruled that Mark Lugo can be released from custody on a personal recognizance bond. Lugo was 35 at the time of his arrest in May. He's accused of contacting a 15-year-old girl on Instagram for the purpose of committing a sexual offense. A United States prosecutor argued that Lugo should stay in custody and brought up his attempts at hiding evidence in secret photo vault apps only accessible to the U.S. Secret Service. An 8-year-old boy has died after being hit by an alleged drunk driver in a pickup truck. 33-year-old Andres Serna has been charged with DUI in Kern County before. Court records show his license is suspended. Police say that Serna lost control of his pickup a little after 12 noon Monday as he was heading west on East California Avenue near Haley Street. The truck went through a fence into a parking lot and hit the boy and his father near a food truck. The father had moderate injuries. The boy was listed as critical but did not survive. A man has died after a fire in the Southeast Bakersfield motel. According to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, it broke out at the Sierra Vista Motel on Union Avenue at around 11 a.m. Tuesday. Deputies identified the victim as 36-year-old Jaime Bautista, who was inside and had severe burn injuries. He was taken to the Bakersfield Memorial Hospital burn unit for treatment, but did not survive. The Bakersfield Fire Department is investigating. The city of Bakersfield is hosting a free bulky item drop-off this coming Saturday, November 8th. It's being held at River Lakes Ranch Park from 8 a.m. till noon. Residents should be prepared to unload their own stuff. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 5th day of November. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. Big story of the day, a bad, tough night for the Republican Party. And as the texter pointed out, I don't think you had to be a political science professor to figure out that Democrats would do well in the city of New York. Quite obviously, they ran a horrible Democratic candidate, in Andrew Cuomo. Curtis Sliwa, who ended up only getting 7% of the vote, kept screaming, "I'm going to win, I'm going to win," instead of joining forces with Andrew Cuomo. And the president said it best, I'm not a Cuomo fan, not even the slightest, but a bad Andrew Cuomo is better than a good Zoran Mamdani. He is a socialist, as Howard has talked about today. He leans very he's a Muslim, but he's very radical and hangs out with some very radical figures, some even tied to 9/11. And he's made some very controversial 9/11 comments. He's made some very controversial anti-Semitic comments that just completely went ignored because, as we've talked about, affordability is the main issue in New York. I'm not sure that sells all over the country. In fact, I know that doesn't sell all over the country. But I do think the Republican Party has to begin talking about the economy. Because think about it. In the 9 months that the president's been in office, what has been the discussions? The Epstein files, the shutdown, the ballroom. Has there really been any serious discussion beyond tariffs, which is controversial and maybe tossed out his ability to do so by the Supreme Court? And as Teresa Golder pointed out yesterday as well, this was started, many of the lawsuits have been filed by very small companies that are seeing their price hikes going up to 70, 80% with these tariffs. I don't understand it well enough to really give an intelligent opinion on it. I think in the long run, it's necessary, particularly with China. I don't necessarily agree with this kind of wide swath that the president has done, this 10% on just about everybody and anybody, particularly Canada and some of our closer allies. I think that could have been handled differently. I just think they, just like they did with Elon Musk and the cutting of certain jobs, I think they went at it with an axe as opposed to a scalpel. But I think it's necessary. I don't think that's any question. And it's going to be fascinating. I don't think there's any question the Supreme Court's going to come back before the end of the year. This thing has to be settled. It has to be settled soon, the question on tariffs. There's no way they're going to wait till June, which most experts agree they normally would for a case in November. But no way with this. This can't just linger because that makes the whole ruling moot. In the meantime, we're on day 36 of the shutdown. And as I talked about yesterday, even a continuing resolution, if signed today, would have to be renegotiated. That clean CR, which should have been signed weeks ago, expires on November the 21st. So not only are they going to have to agree, Democrats, that the Affordable Care Act tax credits will have to be separated into a separate bill, but now they're going to have to sit down and write a whole new continuing resolution. Now, that's not really that complicated because what has made this whole shutdown so incredibly stupid is that the clean CR is the same clean CR that they voted, they being Chuck, who's the majority leader? McConnell and the rest of the Democrats on the Senate side. It's the same thing they voted for, Chuck Schumer. Same thing they voted for 6 months ago and a year ago. This is a Biden CR that continued last 6 months that they all signed. And we've played some of the audio of Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and the other leaders of the Democratic Party talking about, well, we never just stick in amendments. We never hold hostage the keeping the government open or closed based on something that we want to negotiate. We do that separately. And now, Papajenko, look what we got. They're doing exactly what they said we would never do. And again, as Kathy agreed, I think Howard agreed, and as I have been telling you for weeks now, after the election, which is today, tomorrow, maybe Friday, they're going to come and negotiate this thing. They wanted chaos. They wanted Democrats mad at Republicans. And again, I was shocked to see the numbers that 52% of the American people blame the shutdown on the Republican Party. Shocked as hell to see that. Meantime, the Trump administration is grudgingly, as ordered by a judge, to release some of the emergency money for food stamps or SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. But they are incredibly reluctant to do that for reasons I don't know. Did I send you Sean Duffy audio?
You didn't send it to me, but I found it.
You did find it?
Yeah.
Then how'd you know to look it up?
Because you put it down on the rundown.
Did I? But I didn't send you audio.
I don't think so.
Ralph Bailey, brilliant executive producer.
As long as it's put down on the rundown.
We'll get to Mr. Duffy in just a second. Who you got?
Chris is on the line.
Chris, what's really going on?
Hey, RB, how are you?
I'm okay. What's going on, Pop?
Hey, got comments on a couple things. Number one, as a native New Yorker, I've always loved New York. I feel bad in one capacity, but I believe, kind of like how Trump losing in 20 worked out better for us in 24. I think Zoran being the mayor hopefully can help out in a year because he will not be able to do half the things he wants to do. And I think things will get worse because he can screw with the police and all that. And I think crime will get worse.
Yeah.
And it'll so hopefully we can put on blast, the reality of what a socialist situation looks like.
Yeah, you have stumbled staggeringly, haphazardly into something that people are going to watch, and that will be the crime stats. And there's no way they're not going to go up. And that falls right on his desk. You're absolutely right.
And even within a year, that ends up.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you and Howard were talking about with the healthcare, there actually are plans or systems in place that could take the place of Obamacare, but you have to have all of Congress on board. One of the things was, number one, allowing insurance companies to sell policies across state lines. Right now, you can only work within your state.
Yep.
That completely cuts down on competition. Number two, and they've talked about it for years and haven't done it, and I'm sure the litigation lawyers, some of my very dear friends, but wouldn't want it, is the whole tort reform. The malpractice filings against physicians in the medical community have skyrocketed their costs, which in turn increase the cost to patients. The other thing that is out there and that exists, and they can also do it as well, is you have what's called concierge medicine. You have it's called the practice in town, where you pay like $69 or $70 a month for 85% of your primary care. You can get cash pay on prescriptions, and then all you would have to do is just have an insurance policy for catastrophic. You're in a car accident, you get cancer. All of those things can work, but you have so many lobbyists and so many people who are have to have people beholden to the government to keep their way. They've not allowed that to transpire. And
Yeah.
to get that to happen, you could lower costs for healthcare and make it accessible for more people, more financially affordable. And then you keep, for those who truly are destitute, you keep the Medi-Cal, Medicaid programs in place as needed for what it was intended. So Howard did have some truth in what he was saying, but just didn't quite get it across correctly.
Right. And we can't even get that to the floor. We can't get either one of those that you talked about to the floor, let alone get a vote.
Because
it's crazy.
That's why, and for like kind of like you, where I mean, I grew up in a Democratic household in a Democratic state, and you know, that whole issue with, you know, Hillary Care back in the day and a bunch of other things. I've seen that, in my opinion, the Democratic Party really don't want people to be more successful and independent, because they thrive off of people needing them. That is how I feel. I truly feel that at this point in my life.
That's why we haven't weaned people off welfare. They like welfare. They like poor people dependent on the government. They absolutely do, in my opinion. That's one of the reasons I left the Democratic Party, because welfare absolutely ruined the black family in lower income homes. Absolutely ruined it.
No, it's ruined. But I mean, not that I would want to go back to the 50s and 60s as far as that component of it, as far as racial injustice. But you're right. I mean, there were thriving black communities with businesses, grocery stores, you know, and welfare absolutely decimated it.
It did. It lost it. It took away the incentive of getting married, and it incentivized not getting married. And then we have several generations of fatherless children who are aimless. And it's in my opinion, it's no coincidence that with the rise in welfare became the birth of gangs. I think it's directly correlated. I really do.
And that's not only specific to, you know, a black thing. I mean, it's any poor, you know, socioeconomic deprived area that exists with the welfare system and supporting that. And like with SNAP, I mean, it needs to be there for those who really need it. But there's some lady on TikTok who's, you know, BSing because she's got to give up her 2024 BMW because she's not getting her $4,000 a month in SNAP benefits.
Yeah.
That's insane. If
Yeah.
that's actually happening.
That's
not right.
There is great abuse. We talked about that with Congressman Valadao. There's no question. There is great abuse. I don't know, man. I wish I had the answer, Chris. I really do.
There's got to be a middle ground.
Yeah.
You know, something. You're never going to make everybody happy. That world does not exist.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
There's got to be a middle ground that's fair to working middle class, that's fair to truly the destitute, and that's fair to, you know, to the wealthy, because the majority of the wealthy actually fund the tax base in our country, and I don't blame them for getting ready to bug out in New York.
Yeah.
Who wants that?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, sir. Always good. Great comments, dude. Always good to hear from you. Appreciate that. That was great.
Hey, you guys do a great job, and I'm going to be hitting you up for some lacrosse advertising in the next few weeks.
All right, very good. Very good. All right, man.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
Hey. My man, Chris Orr, who had the great privilege of being the guardian, if you weren't with us a couple of weeks ago, when Billy Burke passed away at the age of 100, just short of his 101st birthday. He was part of Honor Flight, and I was on that flight and got to spend a lot of time with Mr. Burke, and Chris was his guardian. In fact, I'm pretty sure we flew in the same row on the way there and back from D.C. He was a great man, Mr. Burke, and Chris did a really nice job as his guardian. Let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll check the board, see what you all are talking about, recap some of our stories of the day. Been a busy day in politics throughout the nation, here in California, New Jersey, Commonwealth of Virginia, and of course, in New York City. No music for it, brother? It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180, KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. What's wrong?
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180, KERN.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. We will break down the continued fallout of the 2025 elections and how they might impact the 2026 midterms. Plus, we will be joined by Katie Miller and Buck.
We'll look at what the Trump administration's focus is for not just the economy, but immigration and other national issues on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180, KERN.
Hope you join us every Thursday, particularly at 4:30, when Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us. Daniel gives us a weekly update on the deficit and its growth. We look at silver and gold, and obviously the stock market and all kind of economic issues that most importantly impact you. But again, you guys know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. I keep telling you guys, it's one of the smartest moves that I've ever made financially. Call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400 if retirement is in your near future. Or just tune in Thursdays at 4:30 when he joins us every week. Daniel Petrie, the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future, option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time. We are under no obligation to update our views.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-399-7272. 800-399-7272. Again, that's 800-399-7272.
You've used KV Print and Bakersfield signs for all your print marketing products throughout time. Why? Because we've been doing it right for over 35 years. And now KV Print and Bakersfield signs are excited to unveil our brand new 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. At KV Print and Bakersfield signs, we don't just print, we help bring your brand to life. From vibrant brochures and business cards to custom vehicle wraps to branded company apparel and eye-catching storefront signage. KV Print and Bakersfield Signs provides high-quality marketing materials that get you noticed. Whether you're promoting a new product, outfitting your team, or turning your vehicle into a branding machine for your business, we've got you covered with fast turnarounds, great prices, and the personalized local service you deserve. Are you ready to stand out? Visit kvprint.com or call 661-327-1772 today for a free quote. KV Print and Bakersfield Signs, your brand, your style, our print.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Goodbye, yellow brick road, where the dogs of society howl. You can't
house. Going back.
842-537-6842 KERN. What do you got? Anything?
I got a couple here.
Oh, my back is killing me.
This first one says, are the Democrats now claiming that Obamacare didn't work? Are you going to negotiate a fix for the bad plan?
Obamacare didn't work, doesn't work. But that doesn't erase the reality that people's premium is going to go out the roof if they're not extended. And I think there's a reason that even the Democrats did not make it endless. And I think the current negotiations will not be endless. I think there'll be a one-year extension, and somebody's got to figure out a plan that works. I think Chris discussed it brilliantly in terms of the faults within Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, whatever you want to call it. I was never a fan. We knew it was a lie, that you could keep your doctor, that nothing would change. And yet here we are. And we have a problem that is coming up. Open enrollment, as I think for some has already begun. I think it ends, like on the 15th or maybe as late as the 30th. I don't know, but something has to be done and something will be done. I guarantee it. I guarantee right now that the ACA tax credits will be extended. I guarantee it. If not by the end of the week, but don't quote me on that, but they will be extended. And then it's up for the two parties to come together and come up with some sort of an answer. There's got to be an answer. But see, that's another part of the problem is, let's face it, undocumented workers are the X factor. How do we deal with these people, the millions that Joe Biden let in? And we can't just say, well, you don't get health care, because we know where that ends with emergency rooms being 4 or 5 hour waits if you've broken your elbow, because you're not bleeding, you're not at the top of the list, and you've got people in here that are using the emergency room as their general practitioner. So it's just kind of a circular problem that it's like being stuck in a damn revolving door with no exit. It's just stupid. And of all the things that you would think that the two parties could come together and be bipartisan on would be healthcare. I mean, are all these legislators, are all their kids rich? None of their kids are struggling, making 50, 60, 70 grand a year and trying to figure out how they're going to afford meds when they get into their 30s and their 40s? I don't know. I really don't know. I hate talking about stuff that I don't have an answer to and don't really even understand. I can't get my brain around it. I really can't. What else you got?
Why should I have to pay for healthcare through my employer and others be given free healthcare? Isn't that socialism? Leveling the playing field by lowering my salary just doesn't seem right. Are you saying we should have a single player healthcare system?
No. And I just thought I'd said I'm not a fan of Obamacare. But right now the reality is what it is. And we have to deal with that. And I don't think this deal that they're about to cut is going to be an extension, an indefinite extension. I think it'll be a year. And then they'll have to figure something out. It'll be when we come up to Christmas next season and they are on the verge of expiring, that's going to be a gargantuan issue in the midterms. And somebody is going to have to say or do something intelligent, or the other, or you're going to get clobbered during the midterms. And the midterms might be the only thing that saves healthcare, because it is going to force one of the two parties or certain candidates to talk about it in a sensible way and come up with something that makes sense for all. Because whenever you get into something that large, it's like the COVID payments. Whenever you start doling out stuff it gets abused. And is there a bigger poster child for abuse than those COVID payments? Where I got money, you got money, and the Los Angeles Lakers got money? Jeannie Buss got money, got COVID money? That's crazy. Anytime you get into something that gargantuan with the government, there's going to be abuse. You can absolutely count on it. So is there abuse with that and SNAP and all these? Yes, of course there is. Quick timeout. Last half hour of the broadcast. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday. Right here on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at kernradio.com. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A majority of Supreme Court justices seem skeptical about President Trump's ability to unilaterally impose far-reaching tariffs, putting at risk a cornerstone of his agenda and the biggest legal test yet of his boundary-pushing presidency. 3 conservative justices raised questions Wednesday about whether an emergency law gives Trump near limitless power to set and change duties on imports with potentially trillion-dollar implications for the global economy.
Hey, let's give it a shot.
Federal investigators say a UPS cargo plane's left wing caught fire and its engine fell off just before a fire.
You ready? You ready? 3, 2. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. You know, I think the guys over at Sangera Subaru have totally lost their minds. Did you know that now through God damn it. 3, 2. Hey, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. You know, I think the guys over at Sangera Subaru have totally lost their minds. Did you know that now through November 19th, the lease on a 2025 Crosstrek, just 100 Crosstrek? It is Crosstrek, actually. God damn it. One more time, and then 3, 2. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. You know, I think the guys over at Sangera. What is wrong with me? Do you think it's my head that's going? I can't even talk. One more time. 3, 2. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. You know, I think the guys over at Sangera Subaru totally lost their minds. Did you know that now through November 19th, the lease on a 2025 Crosstrek, $149 a month. I'm not making that up. A 2025 Crosstrek Premium CVT, only $149 a month for 36 months and just $5,100 due at signing. Crazy, right? Or if you'd rather buy, you can get as low as 1.9% APR financing. So basically, you choose buy or lease. Either way, you're getting a brand new 2025 Crosstrek. These offers end November 19th, so stop by and see my good friends Damon Culbertson, Hassan Levy. Pick out your Crosstrek and the financing. These offers end November 19th, so stop by and see my good friends Damon Culbertson and Hassan Levy. Pick out your Crosstrek and the financing that works best for you. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersfield Auto Mall. I think I can do that better.
Biggest economic story on the planet this year has been Trump's tariffs, and the Supreme Court may decide, yeah, he can't do that. We'll have the highlights of the oral arguments.
And ICE has started to go after illegal alien commercial truck drivers. You're not going to believe how many they've found and rounded up. That and the news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Just some love, 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 love. I need you loving not every day, 2 or 3 times a week, and you live longer. Remember that? Remember that discussion? Just some notes I took from an LA Times article today about the future of the Dodgers and some of the numbers from the World Series. The Game 7 broadcast in Canada, the most watched of any English language broadcast on record, aside from what global event, Chris Burdick?
Super Bowl?
Is that global?
Oh, that isn't global. You're absolutely
well, technically, I guess it is global because it's aired all over the world. But this is a global event.
Olympics?
Exactly. Can you guess what year? Obviously, the Winter Olympics for Canada, but can you guess what year in the 21st century it was held in Vancouver? Well, 2010. That was 15 years ago. You were 15 years old. You couldn't know that. 2010. The clock is already ticking on the Dodgers. They were talking about Dodgers. Max Muncy's in a tough spot. Check this out. I didn't know this until I read this. I'm reading from the LA Times. The clock is already ticking on their $10 million team option for third baseman Max Muncy, which either has to be picked up or declined by Thursday. They've got to make a decision on Max Muncy tomorrow. Do you think they'd let Max go and try to sign Alex Bergman?
That's a possibility, but Max has been with you guys for a while, so I think it really is going to come down to his batting average this year and how much Dave likes him.
He's 35.
Yeah.
Max is. And Branch Rickey's thought, I think it was Branch Rickey, who said it's always better to get rid of a player a year earlier than it is a year too late. I don't see them getting rid of Max, but I didn't see them getting rid of Austin Barnes, which I think backfired because neither one of the backup catchers played a role in the playoffs, and they only kept one of those 2 kids. Rush went back down to Oklahoma City, and Austin Barnes was a factor in the playoffs last year. He really was. Then there will be the matter of Kike Hernandez, free agents who have voiced their hopes of returning next year. Neither played flash in the regular season. Rojas posted an exactly league. He batted 283 last year. He batted 262 this year. I don't have a problem with 262, Mickey Rojas. I really don't. However, both veterans were integral to the team's playoff run. Hernandez, what do you think Hernandez hit in the regular season?
Kike was barely 200, right?
206. 202. And then if you're Michael Conforto, you're like, well, what the hell? I batted 200. But the reality is, what did Kike hit in the playoffs?
It has done in the past.
300. He was a 300 hitter during the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's you're right. He's got a resume that somehow, some way, no matter what he hits in the regular season, he's going to hit in the playoffs. And that's the secret of the Dodgers. Most teams can't do that. The Dodgers right now, would you disagree with me? Right now, the Dodgers know we're going to win the division. Right now, we know that.
Yeah, that's fair.
We absolutely know that. Unless the Padres go out and get Pete Alonso and Kyle Schwarber and throw somebody else in there and Cody Bellinger.
There you go.
If they get those 3, maybe. And even with those 3, we might still win the division. We'd certainly get into the playoffs. So the Dodgers have the luxury, I guess you'd call it, of allowing guys to hit in the hundreds. Because again, we had 3 or 4 guys hit in the hundreds during the regular season. Rojas was inserted in the lineup in Game 6 and 7 of the World Series and made one season-saving play after the next. You know, everybody forgets that diving play he made at third against Philly. Was it against Philly? Yeah, it was against Philly. Remember that? When he was playing third base and he couldn't get there and he dove and he almost hurt his wrist. You can't let, even at 37, you got to sign Mickey one more year. You got to sign Mickey one more year. I think it would hurt the clubhouse without Mickey. I really do. The bullpen is another question, writes the LA Times. The team has plenty of depth there too, returning the likes of Alex Vesia, Anthony Banda, Jack Dreyer, Blake Trinan. Yeah, but the problem is they all suck. The only one I trust among that group, Vesia, Banda, Dreyer, and Trinan, maybe Dreyer, maybe Banda, and maybe Vesia. I don't feel comfortable with any one of those three. They've all had their bad moments last year. And Blake Trinan, I'd be shocked if he's a Dodger. We get back Evan Phillips, Brock Stewart, and as you talked about yesterday, Chris, Brusdar Gratterall. But Gratterall, when was the last time he was healthy? He's the street close of our Dodger team. What's he been with us, 3 years? And every year he gets hurt?
Roughly, yeah.
Is that a thing? Are some people just more prone to injury? Is that fair?
I think that's a fair statement.
That some guys are just...
There are just some athletes that can't get away from the injury bug.
Because, you know, speaking of street clothes, you know he's hurt again.
Yeah, I know.
That's just ridiculous.
You got Cooper Flag now. They don't care.
That guy can't stay healthy one freaking season. Is just remarkable. Anyway, several established closers will be available. Who would you take among this group? Hey, Randy, who would you sign? Get in there. Who would you sign among these bullpen guys? Edwin Diaz from the Mets. He's spotty. He's spotty. Robert Suarez, Devin Williams. Some of the Dodgers pursued last winter, apparently.
One from the Yankees?
I don't know. I never heard of Devin Williams. You heard of Devin Williams? Yeah, I never heard of Devin Williams. But apparently we went after him last year and didn't get him. Pete Fairbanks, who the Dodgers had interest in at last year's deadline. Any thoughts? Because I've never heard of him.
I'm also thinking Suarez, his name is Ranger, not whatever you said.
It says Robert Suarez, straight out of the LA Times.
From Philadelphia?
Oh.
Must be a different Suarez then.
Pete Fairbanks could also be an option, either as a free agent if the Tampa Bay Rays don't pick up his option for the next year, or trade candidate. Is he any good? I never heard him either.
Fairbanks is pretty solid.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to sign somebody.
But, I mean, it doesn't matter because you could sign him just like Tanner Scott and he turns into, well, Tanner Scott.
Lord have mercy. God forbid.
Scott.
Yeah. What do you do with Tanner Scott is what he said.
You got to work him in somehow, make him the middle guy. You cannot put him as a closer. And what do you do with Roki? They're talking about Roki being a starter. I don't get that. I would say train this kid, let him get 2 innings, and let him be our closer. Make him our official closer. Or maybe Tanner Scott just went through that thing that a lot of ball players go through, making that transition from one team to the other. Who was he with? Cleveland?
He's with the Padres.
Tanner Scott?
Yeah, Tanner's with the Padres.
Was he really?
Yeah.
How do I not know that? So it wasn't that big a deal. Just coming up to 405, good googly moogly. And in the same league, seeing the same ball players.
Yeah, but I mean, again, there's a difference between playing for the Mets than there is playing for the Yankees. You know what I mean? It's the same with you guys.
Well,
there's a difference playing for the Dodgers.
The expectations are off the chart. Yankees and the Dodgers lose the World Series and the world comes to an end.
And not to mention, he started early with all the mess ups and all the blown saves, so the media never really let him forget it.
Can you imagine if he had just won 4 of the 11 that he blew? We would have had World Series. We would have had a home field advantage. It's incredible. I don't know. I still like Cody Bellinger in center field. But what's he going to be asking for, Randy? 40, 50? Cody Bellinger. Really? He's going to be asking for stupid money? We can afford 30.
Well, 30 a year.
For 3 years?
Want about 4 or 5.
He's going to want length.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we can't do.
So
That's what he wants.
Yeah,
you're
that
looking
we
at
can't.
about 150 probably.
We
million
can't-
dollar
we-
contract.
This is like his last
Big check?
Big one. So
Yeah.
he's going to want 5, 7, 9
No,
a year. Yeah.
no. Three tops. 3 tops. And you're right. He won't go for that. Please stand by.
And that's
Hey,
even if
Siri.
he wants to go back too, because he might have left on a bad note.
How old? No, he's in good stead. I asked somebody, I asked Langelo about that. How old is Cody Bellinger? He's 30. Yeah, this is his last heyday. He wants something to get him into his mid-late 30s, and then he can retire. Or get another 2-year deal till he's 40. Yeah, but yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. You think we're going to make an addition to the outfield? Because we need a left fielder.
Oh, definitely. Conforto's coming back for sure.
Oh, hell. That boy, the sheriff doesn't allow him in LA County.
They gave him his ring and said, get out of LA.
Get the hell. We'll invite you back on opening day for the ring ceremony. Other than that,
No, see, worst part about
sayonara.
it though is when he goes back to San Francisco and then goes back to hitting 300.
Oh, no.
You don't think so? Turn him
San
on?
Francisco.
He was
Huh?
terrible in San
He
Francisco.
was terrible in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. He hasn't hit above 240 in 4 years.
Yeah.
It's like 20. I think I was reading it was 21 was the last year he hit over 240.
Maybe he goes back to the Mets then. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the night. Wrap this thing up. Tomorrow is a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed will be with us, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie. And I got an idea that the shutdown is going to break tomorrow. Yeah, I said it. We'll see what happens. Keep it locked, though. The Charlie Kirk Show coming up at the top of the hour. Don't forget Erica Kirk. You can see on Jesse Waters later tonight. I believe it's on either 9 or 10 o'clock on Fox. If you're riding home, you can DVR it. Maybe watch it tomorrow. But this will be an interesting interview. We'll certainly bring you some audio from that for tomorrow. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
I'm tired of waking up and hearing another case of the DUI. We just had the Madison Williams case where she was found guilty. We have another trial going on where a 6-year-old was killed. Now again, I'm hearing an 8-year-old is dead because of an alleged DUI. Something needs to be done to fix this.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Norma Diaz, owner of La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream.
Hi, I'm Norma Diaz from La
What is
Rosa
the promo?
Fruit Bars and Ice Cream, and I'm a client and friend of Paul Sheldon. I've known
Good.
3, 2. It's not that Republicans got beat on Election Day. I've been telling you that for 2 weeks. It's the fact that in a district that 3, 2. It's not that Republicans got beat on election night. Everybody knew that. I've been telling you that for weeks. But what stands out is that they got blown out. That in a district in New Jersey that Donald Trump carried by 3 points in 2024, the Democratic gubernatorial candidate carried it by 15 points. That's problematic. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, Michael Turnipseed from Current Tax will join us, as per usual. Our money man, Daniel Petrie, and all the breaking news and events. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1, AM 1180, KERN. I'll see you at 3.
a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-399-7272. 800-399-7272. Again, that's 800-399-7272.
Not again. This copier is always jamming.
We should call American Business Machines.
Since 1927, American Business Machines, an authorized Canon dealer, has been providing reliable office solutions. From state-of-the-art copiers to advanced printers, we ensure your business runs smoothly. Visit abm1.com or call us today at 1-877-YES-ABM1. That's 1-877-937-2261. American Business Machines, your trusted partner for all your office technology needs.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Tell me why everything turned around.
Huge Fleetwood Mac fan when I was a kid. My favorite album was the one they did with the SC Band. You know what I'm talking about? Don't tell me that you love me. Sorry about that. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
I love that song. And they've got the SC Marching Band. Have you ever seen the video?
Don't think I've seen the
Yeah,
video.
you're too young to see the video. The video's like in the 80s. But they've got the whole SC Marching Band. That's a badass band. The Ohio State Band, the SC Marching Band, and Michigan's got a pretty kick-ass band as well. It's pretty cool. But I love how Ohio State's, they dot the I. They have somebody run out. One year was Jack Nicklaus, who was a graduate of Ohio State University. He came out and dotted the I. I thought that was kind of cool. 842-537-6842 KERN. What else you got?
Mom Donnie -5 gets Ralph bit to the pay window. That's from JD.
I'm going to start with the truffles, as I want to do it, Luigi's. And it'll depend on what day we go. I'm going to try to talk Teresa into going on a Tuesday, since it's her day to come in. And it's prime rib day, I'm pretty sure. Isn't Tuesday prime rib day? I'm pretty sure.
Not 100% sure on that
Pretty
one.
sure.
You would know better than I.
Although maybe Thursday, because I think Thursday is salmon. That candied salmon that Gino makes. But yeah, she owes me lunch. I give her 5. And I don't think I've officially made the bet with Kathy, but I gave her 10 on Proposition 50. And it was defeated by what? 15 points? Maybe even, no, it was like 64-35, something like that. Got destroyed. And again, I'm not patting myself on the back. A 10th grade political science student could have told you all these things. But, you know, and I applaud what Kathy tried to do and what Vince Vaughn did. He had an event over the past weekend trying to bring attention to 50. But, you know, this was going to be the launching of Gavin Newsom's presidential bid. And how people can think this is fair, that we are going to have 4 or 5 delegates to the Congress when we can garner 40% of the vote, and why it's good to have states that are one-party states. I don't even understand how Democrats can think that that's a good thing. I really don't. But it is what it is. And we are even greater, an even greater one-party state. Now, remember, there is a flicker of hope, because unlike Texas, who had the right to do whatever the hell they wanted, in our Constitution, Gavin Newsom cannot do what he just did. And let's only hope that we can get some conservative judges that'll agree with that, and maybe we can fight this thing. That's the only scintilla of hope. And if it has to, in fact, I was reading in the New York Times or the LA Times today that if they have to, they're willing to take this to the Supreme Court. They really are. Let me see if I can find this. Here it is. California Republicans filed a federal lawsuit Wednesday morning arguing that the congressional map voters approved the prior night are unconstitutional because they favor one race above others. This violates the 14th Amendment's guarantee of equal protection under the law and the right under the 15th Amendment to not have one's vote abridged on account of race. That's according to attorney Mike Colombo, a partner in the law firm founded by President Trump, U.S. Trump's Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division. Quote, the lawsuit funded by the National Republican Congressional Committee seeks an injunction. Over the next couple of weeks, the three-judge panel will hear evidence of whether they're going to enter an injunction to prevent Proposition 50 maps from going into effect. We anticipate that whoever loses that argument, listen to this is the important part, will go to the Supreme Court. And we anticipate that that decision will probably need to be made before December 19th, when congressional candidates can begin pulling papers. Excuse me. So we have an opportunity. And believe it or not, if it gets to the Supreme Court, I think we win 6-3, maybe 5-4. Maybe Roberts defects, but I think Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Amy, Alito, and Clarence would hang tight. That's a 5-4 win. So don't quite panic yet. Excuse me. There is a glimmer of hope. Just a glimmer. What else you got?
Ralph, robo-umps next year.
Well, you can appeal. You're going to be able to appeal. It'll start in spring training, where only the batter, the catcher, excuse me, something's going on with me. I don't know what it is. Something weird's going on with me. I hope I'm here tomorrow. And I mean that in the life and death sense, not in, I'm getting sick. The batter, the catcher, and the pitcher are the only ones that can tap their hat, which starts an appeal. And then they go upstairs and they look at the box that we all now see, and it's like tennis. I love that in tennis, where they're all like waiting, and you can see the image on the big screen, and it either touches the line or it doesn't. And if it touches the line by a millimeter, it's in. And in baseball, if it touches that box line by any amount, it's a strike. And if it doesn't, it's a ball. But you only get two. And the players don't like it because many times, what do you think a player does, particularly if it's early in the inning, as soon as he strikes out and he thinks it's a wrong call? Do you know the first thing they do? They go back into the clubhouse and they look on the camera, on the monitor, and they see if they're right or wrong. And they've discovered, we've heard players talk about this, they've discovered that many times they're wrong, where they're absolutely convinced that that splitter did not hit the bottom, and you go back and look, and yeah, it caught the line. And when do you want to be the guy that loses one of the appeals, and then you go into extra innings, and you needed that appeal for a third strike that ended an inning, and you don't have it because you used it in the fifth? It'll be interesting to see how they apply this, when these guys use it. Do you just wait until the ninth inning? Could you dare use it to like lead off a game? Like if Ohtani's got a 3-2 count and he thinks he got cheated, and having the first runner on base at the beginning of a ball game was fairly important. Would he dare take a shot? It's going to be fun to watch. It really is, because the umpires, of all the calls that are missed, balls and strikes has just gotten ridiculous. I told you about the one umpire who literally missed 30 different calls. 30 in a 9-inning game. That's absurd. That's just crazy. That's going to do it for us. I want to thank Howard Marcus, Chief Richard Ibarra from the United States Navy. Sir, thank you for your service. What's wrong?
I'm sorry, I started the music a little too early. Still got a whole minute.
That's okay. I can fill a whole minute. I'm a professional. I want to thank Chief Ricardo Ibarra for not only his service in Desert Storm, but for coming in and talking about the Veterans Day Parade. Don't forget, next week, it's going to be a parking nightmare. So get ready to do a little walking. Just don't park in front of my apartment complex, please. Go into Westchester. Go into the nice neighborhood. Don't be parking in front of my place. But I hope you'll attend. And Howard Marcus as well. And again, tomorrow's a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed from the Current Tax Association. He has a big gala going on tonight. He'll tell us all about that. And our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, rejoins the fold. He wasn't with us last week. We'll talk about Jerome Powell's decision to lower Fed rates and whether another one is coming next month. All that and all the news and events, plus me at 3. In the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Rock to you tomorrow!
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1
right, let me
FM.
try this one more time.
Online at KERNradio.com.
And if I fuck
News is Howard.
And if I fuck it up, just use the one we just cut. But I think I can do better. One time. I'm gonna take one time. If I fuck it up at any point, I'm
ready.
I'm punting. Let me call my car first. I think chicken tonight, once again. I think I'm gonna go roasted chicken from Pollo Camparo. I had my avocado thing last night. It was really good. And it was crazy. I was looking as I was driving home. You know how you can monitor your Uber Eats?
Yeah.
She was literally getting off the freeway at California to go to that El Pollo as we were getting on the freeway. But again, I can't stop because it's 23 bones. It'd be cheaper for me to take an Uber to El Pollo Loco and get out there and then take another Uber to my house. That's just the dumbest. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. All right, here we go. One take Bailey. Or actually 6 take Bailey, but who's counting? I know I'll fuck this up. 3, 2. Hey, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. You know, I think the guys over at Sangera Subaru have totally lost their minds. Did you know that now through November 19th, the lease on a 2025 Crosstrek, $149 a month. That's right. A 2025 Crosstrek Premium CVT, only $149 a month for 36 months and just $5,100 due to signing. Just use the line. No, one more time. One more time. Because it's so badly written. That's why it's hard to read. Crazy, right? That's a horrible line.
To be honest with you, we might cut that out.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not even going to say it. 3, 2. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. You know, I think the guys over at Sangera Subaru have totally lost their minds. Did you know that now through November 19th, the lease on a 2025 Crosstrek, $149 a month. I'm not kidding. A 2025 Crosstrek Premium CVT, only $149 a month for 36 months and just $5,100 down due at signing. Or if you'd rather buy, you can get as low as 1.9% APR financing. So basically, you choose buy or lease. Either way, you're going to get a brand new 2025 Crosstrek. These offers end November 19th. So stop by and see my good friends Damon Culbertson, Hassan Levy. Pick out your Crosstrek and the financing that works best for you. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersfield Auto Mall. Boom! Boom! 7, 8 take Bailey. Boom! Jesus Christ.
And be released from custody on a personal recognizance bond. Lugo was 35 at the time of his arrest in May. He's accused of contacting a 15-year-old girl on Instagram for the purpose of committing a sexual offense. A United States prosecutor argued that Lugo should stay in custody and brought up his attempts at hiding evidence in secret photo vault apps only accessible to the U.S. Secret Service. An 8-year-old boy has died after being hit by an alleged drunk driver in a pickup truck. 33-year-old Andres Serna has been charged with DUI in Kern County before. Court records show his license is suspended. Police say that Serna lost control of his pickup a little after 12 noon Monday as he was heading west on East California Avenue near Haley Street. The truck went through a fence into a parking lot and hit the boy and his father near a food truck. The father had moderate injuries. The boy was listed as critical but did not survive. A man has died after a fire in the Southeast Bakersfield Motel. According to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, it broke out at the Sierra Vista Motel on Union Avenue at around 11 a.m. Tuesday. Deputies identified the victim as 36-year-old Jaime Bautista, who was inside and had severe burn injuries. He was taken to the Bakersfield Memorial Hospital burn unit for treatment, but did not survive. The Bakersfield Fire Department is investigating. The city of Bakersfield is hosting a free bulky item drop-off this coming Saturday, November 8th. It's being held at River Lakes Ranch Park from 8 a.m. till noon. Residents should be prepared to unload their own stuff. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The annual enrollment period for Medicare is here. That means that it is time for you to select your Medicare plan for 2026. This annual enrollment period, choose a name you already trust. Select Kern Family Healthcare Medicare, DSNP, a new option for people who have both Medicare and Medi-Cal. For over 29 years, Kern Family Healthcare has been a trusted name in Medi-Cal. Now, we're here to support your Medicare journey too. Call 1-866-661-3767. Again, that's 1-866-661-3767. Or visit www.kernfamilyhealthcare.com/Medicare to learn more and enroll. Start your Medicare journey with local care you trust. Choose Kern Family Healthcare. Kern Family Healthcare Medicare is an HMO DSNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the California Medicaid program.